Hello and welcome to Infamous, the audio podcast. This is Brandon or Mutilis on Discord.
This is Jeremy, and I go by Jeremy on Discord.
Oh, I saw the panic in his face when I said Discord. He was like, "Oh shit, I ain't calling anything."
I had to do it appropriately. I got worried, nervous.
God, I hope I don't forget to change your name.
And this is Aaron. I go by Treffenwood. You fucks.
Everyone likes Discord during the intros. That's how people like it.
I get worried. He's gonna, our evil overlord here is going to punish me again.
Yeah. My favorite is when you figure out you couldn't change it back.
I've been working on it too at work during free time.
I've been watching YouTube videos
on
how to change
I
Discord
can't change it. It's awful.
I'm just so confident in the fact that you can't use a calculator, let alone a computer. It's so great. All right. Well, thank you for joining us, everybody. Hopefully we have a fun episode in store for you. This is episode 105 or season 2, episode 5. Quick announcements. Parker is not here today, as you've probably noticed. So we're going to have to come up with some kind of punishment for him for not attending today's podcast.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure we'll find something good, though. I think I said last week, but all of our podcasts are now available on YouTube if you prefer to listen on YouTube. Also, I'm adding topic tags to the episode, so you'll be able to know what was talked about during the podcast.
We're going to be so fucking legit.
Yeah, we're almost going to be a real podcast soon.
Shut your mouth.
Almost. I said almost.
Okay.
All right. Well, this is going to take us straight into it, and I'm going to do something that Parker's going to hate. I'm going to read his news. Insert Anchorman quote here. Hey, news! Yes. News! So anyway, we have actually a decent amount of news today. According to Aaron, it's not important stuff. He's obviously wrong.
Stupid news.
All right, so we've got 2 of the Sentinels Tactics cards got spoiled. That actually happened today. So let me pull those up. Well, the first one we have is online and operational. It is Sentinels only. Active Sentinel Prime Mark IV may spend 8 power to play this card. Choose an allied injured Sentinel Mark IV within range 3. The chosen character removes all damage, removes all special conditions, drops all object tokens, and flips its card to the healthy side. That's pretty cool. What do you guys think?
Feels like a giant kick in the balls for sure. Like that would suck if it happened to you, but I don't. Yeah,
I don't think it's very good. There are a shit ton of restrictions, mainly the range and the power. Best case scenario, you wait for your injured Mark IV to take a bunch of damage and then play the card. But then you run the risk of accidentally letting them die. So you probably play it as soon as they're injured just to get them healthy again.
Well, at minimum, you're healing 7. I think any card that heals 7 is worth some consideration.
You are healing overall damage, yes, but you're not necessarily gaining character activations out of it, which is, I think, what healing really brings to the game. You heal someone so that they can have an effect on the game that they would not have otherwise been able to have, because otherwise their health pool is insufficient to get what you needed them to do done.
Mm-hmm.
So if they just flipped on their backside, I think this is interesting because the Sentinels are much better on their front side than their backside. If you discount that, though, you're probably not worried about whether you're on your front or your back. If you lose all of your health, you're going to be dazed or KO'd and have no effect on that turn anyway. So I don't see it being huge for that turn. Obviously, they get to stay in the game longer, but you're not going to do anything on that turn that you would not have otherwise done. So I don't know. It's going to be a late game card, I think, with the 8 power requirement, and it's not going to have a benefit for the turn you play it, a significant benefit. So for a lot of those reasons, I think it is going to be lackluster.
Jeremy, do you have thoughts?
I think that's valid, except for the fact that suddenly you can have a healthy model on an objective where it wasn't before. That's kind of a big deal, especially late game. Yeah. And having a model that isn't getting wiped from the board, because you're not going to have very many models if you're taking all these robots, right? I mean, I don't know who's doing all this damage and ripping into them, but I don't know. Having a healthy model instead of an injured is pretty cool if you need it.
Yeah, I agree. Being able to just make one of your models healthy in a specific situation, I think, is huge. you can play it later in the turn when you've decided, like you've already established where the important models are going to be for the round. I don't think it's going to be as hard to play as you think it is, though. Mark IV Sentinel can get to 8 power pretty quick. Or sorry, the Prime Sentinel. And then also 2 large base models being in range 3 of each other is pretty easy. Especially when one of them can be activating during that turn specifically. Like, you could activate the injured Mark IV, move to within 3 of Sentinel Mark IV Prime. He can repair you. You drop the objective, and then he can move to the objective and pick it up even if you wanted to. So you actually don't even end up losing the objective.
And it's not a Sentinel's card specifically, is it? Like, you don't have to have that
It is.
affiliation?
It's Sentinel's affiliated.
Oh,
it's
is?
Affiliated.
Okay.
Yeah. The big deal being that Sentinel Prime has to be awake to play the card. I think that's really the big one. Because you can't play it with one of the little guys. It has to be played by the big guy on a little guy.
I mean, I can definitely see your point, Aaron, though, too. Like, you're right. I don't think it's going to be the humongous game changer that it feels like it should be. Like the Ghost Rider card that's like, oh, he's back alive. Well, you earn 2 more activations out of that. Like,
yeah, it's definitely
potentially
not
that
as
same turn.
That.
Exactly.
Yeah. But again, like I feel like the Deal with the Devil, it's like if they're triggering Deal with the Devil and didn't know what was going to happen, I feel like that's just a like win more card. As we're same with this, it's going to force your opponent to play differently, knowing that this card's in play, and that's a lot of the mechanic. Like if it means that they're not trying to get those guys dazed as quickly as possible, or try and finish them, like anything that's changing your opponent's decision making process is generally good for you. And I think they needed something like this to kind of keep them in the game for a little bit longer.
Again, I was a very, very hot take, right? So happy to be wrong.
All right, so next card up, we have Under Your Skin. I believe Aaron's exact quote prior to recording was, "This is the best card in the entire game." So it is an unaffiliated reactive card. When you include this card in your squad, choose one non-Sentinel affiliated character in your squad. It is now a Sentinel affiliated character. If your squad is using Sentinel's affiliation, when the chosen character is deployed, it gains the Nanite token. After all characters are deployed, discard the Team Tactics card. The character with the Nanite token has flight and immunity to bleed and poison. Aaron, defend your stance.
I'm sorry, I fell asleep while you were monotonely drowning out.
Yeah.
My life essence. Yeah, you should never read this card and never take it out of its box and just throw it away with the box it came in. Unless AMG changes their core rules to how you make squads. Right now, this card, just like the Initiative and Shield, cannot help you gain an affiliation that you did not have.
It doesn't get you affiliated. You have to already be affiliated. So, question, Aaron, do you think they did this on purpose, or do you think they thought this wording would make it able to do that?
I do not think they thought this wording would be able to change how the game has been interpreted to work up till now.
Okay. Do you think they intend to change the rules so this would work?
Think and hope are 2 different words. I hope. I'm not sure I think. Jeremy, do you have thoughts?
Oh, yeah. As soon as I read this card, I was like, man, they finally made Wolverine good. Wait. No, that's a different card. No, this dog shit.
Do you think there's any argument for flight and immune to bleed and poison? Like, just on a stick?
No.
For an entire game? That's not good? There's no world when that's good?
There is no world in which that makes the top 10 most impactful cards you could bring to a generic...
I'm not saying most impactful. I'm saying a character could be benefited enough by having those 3 abilities.
I mean, Black Panther would love to have flight.
Fair.
Like, pick your long movers that can just now ignore terrain.
He also hates poison and bleed.
It is not...
I'm not saying
completely
it's
worthless. I don't think it makes a competitive top 10.
It's not Heave-Ho, though. Like, it's better than Heave-Ho.
Okay.
It's better than the worst offenders, right?
I will agree. I will grant you that, yes.
Okay. So, I'm just thinking in that logic train, like, even if there's nothing else coming down the pipe, Jeremy, would you ever consider putting this in the list? You can't think of a single reason. Like, maybe you're planning to play, what's the name of that mission? Terrigen Cloud. So you know you're going to be handing out poison everywhere. You could take this and one of your guys is immune to poison. That could be cool.
I don't think so. I don't.
Still
I
trash?
think.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't imagine it.
Okay. So my opinion is that something is coming down the pipe to justify this card. And that might be the rule update that we were mentioning, where they change it to say that you pick tactics cards before choosing affiliation or something along those lines to allow this to get you affiliated. I don't think it personally is that impactful to Sentinel specifically. It'd be more impactful to someone like Shield, because I think Sentinel's affiliation is going to be the 3 Sentinels and stuff. And so they're already going to be affiliated anyway. It's not going to matter. The other thing that could be, like, there could be another tactics card coming that says a Sentinel squad member does X. And so that would obviously be a good reason.
I just can't wait till they go and revamp the core rules to where you can only splash 1 character in your squad.
Well, this wouldn't let that be legal still, because you'd have to be Sentinels already and then use this card.
Well, yeah, you would be Sentinels, but then you'd be able to have a second splash character.
But how would you pick everything simultaneously?
Yeah.
So how that wouldn't work. It'd have to be really convoluted wording to have that work, because you would have to have already picked the character before you use this card.
Yeah.
And at that point, you would have already taken 2 unaffiliated characters.
Yeah. Stop with your logic.
Now, maybe they could make a rule that says unaffiliated models get a negative in some way, like they cost an extra point to take, or no, that wouldn't even work.
So, side tangent. Aaron, is that something you think is going to happen?
No.
Okay.
No, yeah, I don't think so.
I was like, is that just some sort of crazy hot take thing?
I think they like...
That is
I think
super
they
crazy.
Like,
but...
Okay.
Yeah. I think they like how customizable squads are and how crazy you can make them. Like, I think they want it to be that flexible.
I wouldn't be opposed to that change. Like, you can only splash 1. Like, I think you should be able to splash, like, quote-unquote, whoever you want. But...
that would just make the big guys even better, because then it's your only splash guy.
It would, but it also... I mean, right now, people take the core that they need to for affiliation and then the best characters that they can. Yeah. Right? This would just make affiliations matter more. As they've fleshed affiliations out further, I don't think that's a bad idea.
There's some affiliations, like Avengers, who just have everyone already affiliated, so they just take whatever the fuck they want anyway.
Right. But they could accomplish the exact same thing by going with a 66 or 75% requirement for the affiliations.
Yeah, I would like to see like maybe a different game mode where that was required. Like, let's say an affiliation battle or something like
that happens. It's a LVO.
A purist list.
Oh, there is.
Yeah.
Well, but is that 100%, or is that like you just have to have more?
It is 100% mono affiliation.
Yeah, so like I don't mean that. I think that's a cool gimmick, but like I mean like an actual format that would be like, okay, you can only have like, I'm trying to think, like a 2/3 affiliated, or like you can only have 1 unaffiliated character, something a little bit more leeway.
Sure.
You have to bring a comic that shows them working together.
Yeah. My favorite was Adepticon did the affiliated tournament where everything had to be 100% affiliated, and they had best in faction trophies to give out, and they made a Dark Dimension one, and I laughed at them. I was like, why would you want to lose 3 games to get a trophy? And I was like, wait a second, this kind of borrow painted a Dormammu, I want a trophy. Like,
I think LVO is the same thing.
And no one got it, because nobody played Dark Dimension, because you would have to just lose all of your games playing a 1 model roster. Yeah, anyway. So moving on in the news, we have information, a little bit of information on the Toad and Pyro box sets.
Are you sure it's Toad and Pyro?
Sorry, I said it wrong again. Blob and Pyro. That's my bad. I even wrote it down wrong. It's so in my head. I was like, yeah, the 2 people nobody know about. So yeah, Blob and Pyro. So first of all, they have a posted release date of December 9th, which is conveniently the same as the next box set we'll talk about, because they always do that. They have posted in the description that there are 3 tactics cards in the box, and the box is priced at $40.
Do we know what size base Blob's on?
Let me take a look. I thought it was medium. It is medium. Yep. So from the blurb, it says Blob has the superhuman ability to become virtually impossible to move at a whim. Now this is, fluffy, so who knows what that actually means. And then they talk about Pyro's ability to manipulate fire. They do go on to say that these 2 models give the affiliation more ways to play and work well with their teammates. So it seems like there's going to be some kind of synergy going on.
Well, that's better than writing, cool. These are anti-synergistic with what we've released so far.
Sure.
Right? Who's going to write that in the back of the box?
Yeah, exactly.
Good luck finding ways to incorporate these in your list.
Yep. So I'm excited. I love Brotherhood, and I love Pyro, so Pyro's gonna be cool. I kind of expect him to be a little bit like Human Torch, where he's just like glass cannon 3-point boom man, where he just runs up and tries to kill people.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine obviously Blob's going to be a tank who's hard to move.
Do you have any hot takes for threat values?
I actually think they kind of hinted that they're both 3-pointers in the video. I do not recall that being the case exactly verbatim, but I want to say they hinted that they were 3s.
Okay, I like 3s.
Yeah, 3s are good. You guys have anything to talk about with these guys? It's not a lot of info, obviously. More tactics cards for Brotherhood, so now they'll be up to like 700, I think, somewhere in that range. So the more controversial of the two box sets that we got some news on, we have Wolverine and Sabretooth's Weapon X Rivals box.
Oh man.
Also coming out December 9th. Listed to have 6 tactics cards included in the box. That will be spicy. They are also listed as Weapon X affiliation models, which is cool because that means there's no affiliation coming with the box. And the box is priced at $100 hairs.
I know what I'm asking for Christmas. I can't afford it, obviously.
Obviously. I mean, I can only have 2 mortgages, guys. All right, so thoughts. What do you guys think? Give me your hot takes.
I'm a huge fan of Wolverine. As much as I hate him in this game right now,
I was going to say, I think the opposite is true.
He's been one of my favorites forever. I've had all the Wolverine comic books. Like, I really dig him. And this version of him, I hope and pray he's amazing. And it would be awesome if they have a leadership that's just phenomenal. Like, I have all kinds of hopes for this guy.
But Jeremy, it comes with a Harley-Davidson motorcycle.
Shut your stupid mouth.
It does.
Oh, my God.
Did you not know that?
I know. Well, look, all I care about is those 2 models. I'm gonna pay fucking $50 a piece for them. Stupid.
Well, I'm glad you're all in.
I'll steal it.
Don't steal it.
Please don't steal it.
Ooh, it says it comes with 8 props.
Those are like stop signs and cones.
Huh.
Same stuff that
That's
came
a
in like
lot.
the Sanctum Sanctorum. Yeah.
That's a lot, though. Sabretooth, Apex Predator, and Logan the Wolverine are the names of the models. Comes with 1 motorcycle, 1 bunker terrain piece, 8 props, 2 stat cards, 16 tactics cards.
Wow.
So, I do like, obviously, everything involved with this. When they first spoiled this, people lost their fucking minds. I think they should have spoiled the price point when they spoiled the box set, because everyone's kind of cooled on how cool the box set is, because it is a really cool box set. Like, the terrain piece looks nice, the models look great, they come with cool little extras. And if they had said then that it was going to be $100 versus like $70, that probably would have been a good time, because people are so excited that they wouldn't have cared so much. But now it's like we've had 3 or 4 months to kind of forget about it. And now it's just like, oh, $100, and that people don't like that. I'm concerned that because I can only assume one of these guys is going to be the leader.
Mm-hmm.
I can only assume a $100 box set to play an affiliation is going to be rough.
I think everyone has it right. Like, putting this behind a paywall, that's a really good way to say this.
Yeah.
It's kind of, this is frowned upon. Electronic Arts kind of crashed and burned on it. Like, you shouldn't do this. This is not how to do this.
Yeah. Now, actually, this is even worse. I was just going to say, what if they did, like, the Convocation leadership card, where you could just pick any of them to be the leader, but it'd have to be in this box. So
it's in that goddamn box.
Pay $100
feel
for
a lot
a
better
card.
about you. Yeah, people feel a lot better about you printing a tactics card than they do a model card, though, and then proxying the model. Yeah, I don't know. It does seem a little excessive. I think that the Spider-Man Doc Ock one being 65, I really thought that would scare people off too, and we did not sell a lot of them. But people did not seem to complain about it, and that's probably due to the fact that you didn't need them. But I think this is probably going to be the hard line for a lot of people to no longer be game complete.
Do you think that there'll be 3 or 4 new Crisis cards in this box?
6. I think it's all the new missions they're all going to be in this box. The 1 year of no Crisis cards are going to be made up for with this one box.
Crisis Pinata. It will burst open. There'll be new freedoms.
So I think they've clearly not done like a huge price hike on the game in general, but yeah, $100 for this box does seem like a lot.
I'd come down on the very excessive side. I do not intend to buy it when it comes out, if ever. And I am someone who owns every single thing in the game. But I just can't get behind the company reasoning, let's put it that way, without being too negative.
Because it says there's 8 props in here, I'm kind of wondering if there's going to be like also an ultimate encounter in here.
Even so, that's pretty tough. I mean,
yeah, or maybe like a narrative scenario of like Wolverine versus Sabretooth, and you just play like a little skirmish game between them. I don't know. Yeah, it just seems like too much. I'm not saying that like the plastic is not worth it. Like a high detail model kit of that size, it's probably in the range of 70 to 100. Now, it's definitely on the high side of that. But man,
well, especially there's so many people that love to play the game, don't care about hobbying, do not care about painting. So they're going to spend $100, $50 a piece for these guys just to have the models and the cards. Now, a lot of these people never played 40K, so they don't understand what it's like to pay $50 for a Vindicare Assassin, which is horse shit, but that's just how it is.
At least this isn't made of fucking fine cast resin.
Exactly.
At room temperature.
So there is a bit of precedence, and it is a good deal if you look at it in that light.
Yeah.
But 40K is one, or I'm sorry, Warhammer is one of the only games that gets away with this kind of horse shit. They get away with it.
I just don't see why. Like, if they had to raise their prices for all of their models across the board due to, you know, whatever realities they're living in, I could understand that. But gating the purchase behind a combination pack.
Yeah.
Like, I'm someone, I have all the terrain I need. I don't need this terrain. Maybe I would buy it eventually. But making me buy the terrain with the characters is upsetting.
Just point of order, though, it's not game terrain. It's not intended to be game terrain. It's supposed to be a diorama.
I understand, but it's also legit size 5 in-game terrain.
I don't think they actually intend for you to play with it. Like, it's got
the back
it's gonna have big holes on it. It's got big holes where the guys are supposed to stand. Right?
I thought I saw in the painting stream
that it's got plugs for it.
I think in the painting stream they said this is designed to be playable in game.
I mean, they might have made it like the correct scale and everything, but like I don't think that's. Let me see.
I think he said the back was going to be flat, not.
I believe him that it's not going to be like one-sided like the other thing was, but even if it's just a sheer flat back, like it's a tunnel. It's not supposed to end there. It's supposed to be like part of a mountain. And yeah, there's going to be 2 big plugs where the models are supposed to stand. So unless they give you extra parts that fit in there, it's going to look shitty on the table because it'll be bare spots.
Right. Anyway, my 2 cents is why. Right. I get that the first rival panel they did, which was largely thematic, and this one is not just thematic. So whatever.
They said in the video that they were surprised how many people said they wish that the Rivals pack had new models in it and not old models. And I get that with the feedback they got, they said, we're going to make the new ones, new models, stand alone. And the price point is $65. I think that was correct. Now, and also it was like 2 random models from different affiliations, so like you don't really need to buy them. But then they put 2 models from the same affiliation, almost assuredly one of which is going to be a leader, in a box that is almost 50% more expensive. Like, I think they jumped too far. Like, they went way too far to one side. Like, they went from completely extra, no need to purchase, to basically required to play X things. You're like, ugh. Yeah. I think it went too far.
I mean, it would be appreciated by most people, instead of watching these packs sit on your shelf forever, if they were to also put out the pack with fucking Wolverine and Sabretooth. Like, that's what it should happen. Because the people that bought the other thing had both those models already when they bought it. Like, they came with the box.
That's not a bad point. What if they did a Weapon X affiliation box that came out, like, similar time frame that had these 2 models in there?
And they might have like 5 models in that box set. You know what I mean? Like, it's very possible.
Like it could be X-23 and Honey, or actually perfect. They could do Bob, Deadpool, Wolverine, and Sabretooth in a affiliation box. You could buy them all separately without getting the terrain for like $60. That would be
absolutely
perfect. Because you don't have to buy the taco truck. You don't have to buy the big Weapon X platform thing. You could get all of them at the same time together, get all the Tactus cards at the same time. And then everyone's like, well, I don't want the train, I just want the models. Like, those people would be appeased.
Yeah, I mean that would be ideal, and maybe they have that in mind. In like 6 months, they'll do it. I don't know.
Yeah, that's the thing. Well, we're full 2 month, almost 2.5 months away from the release date. It's possible it's on the horizon. I would be surprised, but it's possible.
Just
If
feels
not,
like a
maybe
weird
they
move.
should.
It feels like a weird move from them.
This is not like Hooch Hauler bad. If you guys remember the Hooch Hauler from War Machine, where they're like, "We're going to direct only. You can't buy these in game stores. So that way you can keep the price down." And then the price jumps 60%. And we're like, I don't think you understand what the words you said mean. And also, the model was not that impressive. Like, it was just okay. I was like, come on, man.
I actually like the Hauler.
Like, the model was fine, but, like, the price point was ridiculous.
I agree with you on that one.
Yeah. It went from $90 a model for Battle Engines to $170.
Woo!
And that was... And they said that they were directly distributing it so they could get the full margin, and that way they didn't have to worry about the markup. And then it also went up 70% in price. It's like, fuck off.
The actual Hooch Hauler is solid, either resin or plastic, though. It's not hollow.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
That was
Okay.
a battle engine that cost $170.
Yeah, though this was the first Black Ink or Heavy Industries model.
No,
And
not the first
there
one,
was...
Crocodile
I'm
was
sure it
first,
the
right?
first one.
because that was the one that cost $99. I'm almost
No,
positive
it
Crocodile
was
was the first one.
$125, I thought. It was very affordable in comparison to the Hooch Hauler. I thought the Hooch Hauler was the first one.
It's all relative.
No, because the Hooch Hauler was because it went up from 100 to 160. People were like, "Holy shit!" And it wasn't very good in game. So we're gonna produce the most expensive model we've ever made and make it not very good. Guess what those sales were?
Yeah. Also, like, they can say it's solid all they want. I know how much the resin costs. That cost them nothing. Like, okay, it's like $4 cost. Like, get the fuck over yourself. Like, they acted like it was a big deal. It's like, shut up. That was the moment they lost goodwill with their customer base. Like, you could look at it on a graph and it just nosedives. It's like, okay, cool, thanks. So you're creating enemies of all the local game stores and raising your prices substantially. Good job. You've won. You're now on that side of the line. Everyone hates you. Yeah, I don't think this is that. I think this is just I don't know. I guess
flare.
you call it I think this is just
It's a flare.
abnormality. I think it will correct from here. We have had a lot of more expensive boxes lately, like a lot of $50 and $45 boxes.
Let's say I
Well,
finally got like accustomed to going, okay, these are $25 a model. There's 2 models in here. Okay, I guess that makes sense, I guess.
Cheaper than crack, right?
Yeah, I guess so. I
There
guess.
you go. And fewer
I think
STDs than
everything's
hookers.
cheap. I think everything's cheaper than crack because crack is all of your money. No matter how much money you have, it is all of your money. Might not be all of your money today, but it's going to be all of your money. All right. Let's see. That's going to wrap up our news segment. Hopefully we didn't get too ranty there. I thought it was okay overall. We had some good news in there. All right. So moving into our main topic today, we're going to be doing some ratings. We are going to rate the remaining Avengers that we have on our list here. Let's go ahead and dive in.
I like to
Who do you guys
consider
want to start with?
I like to consider
So-
judging models. I don't think the feel rating
Judging.
is. I like to judge
You-
them.
You like judging,
Yes.
sitting in judgment.
Hmm.
All right. So the models we're rating today are Sam Wilson, Hulkbuster, Voodoo, Iron Fist, Luke Cage, and War Machine. So starting first, we have Jeremy. Go ahead and pick one off the list.
Let's see. Let's just get him out of here. How about Doc Voodoo?
Voodoo.
Boom, boom, boom.
Voodoo. All right. So for offensive potential, let me pull up his card real quick. We have a Mystic Attack range 3, 5 dice with Sap Power. That's a builder. His spenders range 2 with Power Burn, which is kind of like Sap Power but for damage also. 7 dice, cost 3. He has a 3-cost throw in which he can throw size 2 people, or if he has Brother Daniel on him, he can throw size 3 terrain. And that's his offense. Not bad. The fact that he has, as a convocation player, I can say the fact that he has a Mystic Builder is pretty sweet. There's a lot of characters that have the Achilles heel of Mystic damage.
Yeah, it's range 3. That's good. Has Sap Power. That's good.
Yeah.
His
It's one
builder.
of the better basic attacks in the game.
His builder's actually really good too. I mean, it only costs 3.
Yeah.
It's got fucking Power Burn, which is sick.
I do find you rarely use his spender because he has so many other good uses for power, obviously. His throw is awesome too. Like it's short range, but he can get so much work done with just throwing people and stuff. He likes throwing stuff too.
Yep, he's got the best one where he can throw things and stuff.
Yeah.
And people.
I mean, yeah, if you position him right, he's on medium base, so he can take up a decent amount of ground. Set up a good defensive spot. People come into you to try to attack you. They're generally only getting one hit on you, and you're getting 4 or 6 defense dice most of the time. And then you just turn it on them, throw a size 3 piece of terrain at them, probably getting 2 or 3 damage through right there, and then he double builders you, and it's just brutal. So, anyway, let's talk numbers. What do we feel like on a Doc Voodoo?
So he's got Mystic. He does have range with his builder, really good. It's then he can throw shit at you. So it's better than average. 6.
I was also leaning 6.
I was going to say 7.
Ooh. You make an argument for 7?
So we really have to kind of go through what we rank everything. So what is better than a 5-dice Mystic builder and the ability to throw shit?
So the
Pierce
reason,
or higher dice?
Well, the reason I don't go up to a 7 is that he's kind of pigeonholed into one damage type because he doesn't have another way to deal damage. His throw is a little bit, but it's limited. So for example, he's not doing anything to Magneto. Like, it's just not happening. And so that's an issue I have in games. There's some, like, the characters that have super high Mystic defense just, like, wander around in front of him and he can't do anything. Like, Ebony Maw, Magneto, people like that. He does have people he can't beat.
I'll buy that.
That's my biggest problem with him. That's the only reason I don't put him at 7. He also doesn't have action economy, and I think action economy would put him over the top as well.
I'm good.
All right, so 6.
Yeah.
Moving on to defense. I actually find he dies way too often.
Which is weird.
It is weird. I think it might just be a small sample size because I try not to play him unless I don't have a better option because I really think he's dumb and broken.
He's a 4/4/6. It's ridiculous.
Right, but we've proven repeatedly with math and reason that defense dice suck. So keep that in mind. When you're like 4/4/6, you're like, so that means he blocks 0 and dies. Yeah, that's correct.
That's correct.
How much of him dying is the fact that, his defense sucks? Not really. Or the fact that people are like, yeah, you have Voodoo on the table within range 3 of my model? Guess who I'm firing at?
Gotta go.
Yeah, that does happen. I'm not saying it shouldn't happen. I'm just saying it does.
Yeah. I think his defenses are good, right? 4/4/6 with 6 health is really good.
Yeah, and also Brother Daniel, for some reason, I want to say works on dodges. Yeah, works on dodges, which is just like, why? Why is he 4 dodge defense? Like, anyway, he is also immune to Incinerate, so he's always getting his 4 die. It's so weird. Like, why is he immune to Incinerate? That doesn't even make sense. He's also immune to Hex. You can't even Hex him. Okay.
I mean, he doesn't have damage reduction.
Hold on. I've never read this sentence in Spirit of Brother Daniel. Whenever this character rolls dice after resolving, he gains a power if he rolls. Does he really do that? I had no fucking idea he did that. He gets the Shuri ability where he gets power for skulls.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I had no fucking clue. I played him in like 5 games. I had no fucking idea. God, this character is so stupid. Alright, so seriously talking, 6 health on both sides is above average. He's got noticeably above average defense pools. Like, noticeably above average. Like, Hela's crowning achievement is she's 4/4/4 and he's 4/4/6. Like, it's just like, get the fuck out of here.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, though, he has no defense. Like, that's it. Like, he's got base numbers.
Yeah,
the problem.
No rerolls, no damage reduction.
So Convocation leadership goes a long way towards helping him, but that's kind of a Convocation thing and not a Brother Voodoo thing, and he does get splashed sometimes. I'd put him at probably a 5. Like, most characters in the game are squishier than him, that's definitely true. But he's not like a world beater. I could probably be talked up.
I like 5.
I think it's got to be higher than 5. 5 is average, right?
No, 3 is average.
Oh, okay.
Like, a 11 hit point model with 3s across the board is a 3 on a scale of 1 to 10. So we're rating the pool of the game. And so I think 5, maybe 5.5 to 6, just because his raw numbers are so big. Like, until you get to a 5-pointer, nobody beats him on raw numbers. I mean, fuck, he's got 10 in his defensive stats.
That's pretty silly.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to
sorry,
say 6.
14, not 10.
Yeah.
You would say 6?
Yeah.
Jeremy, what was your number?
I'll go 6. That's fine.
I was also kind of leaning up a bit. All right, so support.
14.
Yeah. I think we said objective stealing was control effect. Let me see where we put like Black Cat.
Where did we put turning off your enemy's model's ability to interact with the scenario at all?
I think that's still control though, because
Okay.
it affects the enemy. Yeah, we gave Black Cat a 9 on control. Yeah, so it's in the control pool. All right, so support. Does he help the team?
I don't think
I
so.
don't think so. I don't think
There's
he does
nothing
anything to help
there.
the team.
No.
All right, so we're putting him at a 1.
He's selfish.
Next up, we have control. So he has power drain. He has punishment for power drain. He has throwing. He has force drop objectives and no contesting or interacting. He's a 10, right?
10.
Yes.
10.
He is the 10.
He's a 10. No, there's Thanos is a 10 as well.
Okay, and for the right reasons.
That's
yes.
that's what we're talking about. Yeah,
He's
so-
as fucked up as Thanos in some categories.
All right, so we have a 66110 controller. Jeremy, give me an overall mouthfeel on Dr. Voodoo.
8.
Oof.
I agree.
I agree too. That's why I'm mad.
I nailed it. Nailed it in 1.
I want to put him higher, but I just don't think I can.
He's killable. That's the problem.
He's killable, but also he's like gameable. Like he's broken in very specific situations. And so what the meta has done is just stop playing those situations. Like nobody's playing the missions where he takes control. And if they do, then he's just got a fucking nuclear red laser target on his head.
Yeah, if you allow him what he's doing, you're done.
I feel like we need to put an 8 with an asterisk here. This is a model that
8
can
plus.
single-handedly win games for you if played well and your opponent does not exactly counter you.
Yes, in
and
the
there's
right
very
situation.
few models.
Yeah,
there's very few models that will just take over a game like he will. All right, moving on. Aaron, it's your pick.
Let's do Sam Wilson.
Real quick, is it just me or is Parker not being here for rating making this go way smoother?
I don't
We don't
know.
have the random 10-minute rant in the middle of a topic.
No
Well,
comment.
you two aren't repeating each
No
other.
comments.
You two are not
Yeah,
repeating
we'll
each other
argue the same
constantly.
point back at each other for 5 minutes. And they're like, that's what I said. He's like, no. Like,
No, but here's why I said it. I'm like, oh my
yeah,
god.
I
oh
said
my
it
god.
for this reason. I don't know why we do that. So Sam Wilson, talking offense.
Offense is relative shit.
Yeah. I'll say this later. I'll save this for later. So talking offense, he has a weaker version of shield throw that's got more utility. Red Wing Assault is awesome if you have 4 power.
Yeah, which you
It's
should
got
never
the
have.
on damage throw up to size 3 short, and he places within 2. He has charge, and that's his offense.
So if we're counting charge as part of his offensive potential, then it's a little higher for me because that's key to his kit, right? Along with charge.
Yeah. Range 4 dice is pretty standard, but his is ricochet, ignore line of sight, ignore cover, has charge, is speed long. Like, these are all relevant points. He has incredible tempo. The number of times he loses an attack during a game is incredibly small. Like, if he's moving, it's because you just want to move.
The combination of his ricochet and push is almost ball breaking.
Mm-hmm.
But that's because of the movement effects associated with that, not the damage
Yeah,
output.
that's the control effect. Yeah.
So in terms of actual damage output, I'm going to go with a 4. And that's purely because of the charge helping it out. I could be talked into a 5 because his shield through ignores line of sight.
I think
and
I'm
cover.
going to try and talk you into that 5.
Okay.
He gets a decent amount of power with shield throw. He's basically generating 3 a turn, which means that he's red winging assaulting like half the turns of the game, or half the rounds of the game rather. I think you're going to get a reasonable amount of damage out of this guy. I think he's a 5 because of his threat range. His threat range and tempo, I think, put him up to a 5.
I think you Red Wing Assault between 0 and 1 times every game.
Really?
Oh yeah, because he's charging every turn. You're correct. He's going to get potentially 4 power on the shield throw, but he spends 2 every turn, and he's usually going to spend the other 2 to Vibranium Shield because he's probably your leader and you need him alive.
That's fair. He does Vibranium Shield a decent amount.
Red Wing is good, but 4 power for a 6 dice? Ugh.
Oh, it's the throw for me, like getting the extra
I
throw.
agree, but I don't know. I don't see it being used any more than once a game.
I definitely play him super aggressive, and I know other people don't necessarily do that. So, Jeremy, what's your number?
I'm comfortable with the 4.
4? All right. Well, the 4s have it then. I'm putting the numbers on the wrong boyo. Moving on to survivability. He's 5 health on both sides, 3s across the board. He has Vibranium Shield, and his cool leadership that sometimes works.
I'm giving it a 5. So 3's baseline. And I'll give him +2 for 2 things. 1 being his Vibranium Shield, and 2 being the range at which he normally operates, being range 4.
I think that's a very relevant point. I was going to bring that up.
Beat
Jeremy, do you have thoughts?
No, I agree with everything you're saying. A 5 is fine.
I'm going to go with 5 as well. Mine tends to die a little more often, but that's because I'm like in there.
You're super aggressive with him, that's why. Yeah.
I'm so deep. I'm like, with Steve, move charge, go.
On your left. You're like, oh shit, here he comes again.
So moving on to support. I think all leaders count their leadership ability as support. He also has airlift. So how important is his leadership? And then we'll add airlift on top of it.
Yeah.
5?
Or I was thinking 10.
It's not a 10.
Oh my god.
Get out of here. There's leadership's better than Sam's. He's not even the best leadership in his own affiliation.
Hard disagree. So his leadership is so good because it forces your opponent to play around it on their turn. That's not a lot. I mean, there are a couple leaderships that do that, but not a lot. Like most leaderships benefit you. This leadership says, oh, my opponent did something, I get a benefit. I don't think you can overestimate how impactful that is during a game.
I think it's for that exact same reason, though. The fact that it is reliant on your opponent to do things means that it can be counterplayed, as where other leaderships are much harder to counterplay.
Well, sure, as long as your counterplay is don't ever attack my models. Holy shit.
Well, it's not
That's
don't
great
ever
counterplay.
attack them. Like, it's don't daze or KO them. Like, there's a lot of things you can do that will very unreliably kill people.
I just know I've played many games into Sam, and there have been times when I'm like, well, shit, I cannot afford to daze any of your models.
There's also the almost always one model on their list that's safe to attack. Like, if this person goes down, I'm totally fine with the leadership going off. Like, for example, like Hulk or somebody. Like, you just dump damage into their big guy, and you don't care. Like, oh no, I dazed Hulk. Oh no, what am I going to do? Like, live through this turn.
Very true.
All right, well, I'm going with a 5 for leadership. Are you actually saying 10?
Yeah, I actually am.
Okay. Jeremy?
We're talking about support?
Sam's leadership. We haven't even gotten to airlift yet. Just his value of his leadership. Aaron said 10. He's the best model in the game before you include airlift at supporting models. So he's clearly lost his mind, and we need to move on. It's the Alzheimer's kicking in.
I mean, it is high. I don't know that it's the best, but it's damn near. It's close. I'll land in the middle, like with like a 7 for leadership.
Oh my god, everyone's lost their goddamn minds.
The leadership's ridiculous.
I'm doing the math just in case I can round down. 7. God damn you guys. I'm leaving. Airlift is worthless. Nobody uses airlift. Never once seen it resolved. Alright. Moving on, control. This is what I actually think he's good at, but whatever. You fucking crazy people. Alright, so both of his attacks have control mechanics on them. This is pretty big. The fact that he can possibly affect 4 models a turn with control is awesome. Very unlikely, but awesome.
Well, both the number and the range at which he can do so. So for anyone not familiar, he can be range 4 and get the push on his builder, push that model, then ricochet off of it, range 3, hit the second model.
Just to clarify, some people don't know, from the pushed model, which can be any distance from Sam.
Right. So you can measure it out. You're like range 8 away from the second model you're hitting. Hit them, and then push them back.
Yeah.
So there are plenty
And
of
then
games
charge and do it again.
yes, where your models start off on your deployment line, and before they've even activated, they're back up against the back of the map.
Mm-hmm.
That's insane.
It's very cute.
But it's dependent on damage on a 4-dice builder.
Right. It does ignore cover, which is nice. It lets it cut through a lot. It cuts through the consistency of those defense rolls.
Yep.
I'd say it pushes about half the time, though.
I would agree. Half the time.
And then about half the time it ricochets. So it means he's pushing on like 80% of turns. He gets at least one.
Yeah. So the control potential is a 10. However, when I think of control, I really think of consistency.
Yeah.
So I think go ahead.
I was going to put him at like a 5. So he can do the fairly consistent throw a size 3 with his builder, which, like you said, is not as commonly used.
Spender.
The ricochet is great, but it's only on size 2 models. He has to attack them so you can protect them with things that stop attacks, like bodyguards and things. You can just easily back them up with people that are bigger than size 2. You could also just fail to do damage.
So I agree with all of that, but again, the potential is just so high to have an outsized impact on the game. I was going to say 7, but I could be talked down to 6.
Well, I'm going with a 5.
Okay.
Jeremy, do you have thoughts and or numbers?
Because it is pretty random, I'm going to go with a 5, but I also am with Aaron in that it could be a 10. Some turns are a 10. It's so stupid.
But also some turns it's a 0, so...
Yeah, no, it definitely, yeah. Whenever you need it to happen, it won't. You know, it's one of those type deals.
All right, so for roll, I was going to say Skirmisher. I know people kind of like use him for his control effect and his support, but really he's like his role on the table is a Skirmisher. There are things he does are like byproducts of his kit, I think. But do you guys agree?
Yeah.
Mobility and long range.
Yep.
All right, so we have a 3.4575 Skirmisher. I do want to say before we get to ratings, when this guy came out, this was like, I want to compare him to like Gwen, like Ghost Spider. This was like a whole new level of model that we had not seen before. Like, this model was so dynamic and so game impacting. It literally changed the meta for like 6 months because Sam Spam was a real list that was everywhere. So what do you guys think?
9.
Yikes.
I know, he's just throwing out the numbers creep. Everything's going to be a 9.
Let me take a look at it. So I just looked at all of our other ratings are 8 and above. We've got Valkyrie.
Well, that was pre-nerf.
Doc Voodoo, Corvus, Thanos, Juggernaut, Magneto, Sabretooth, MODOK, Shuri, Rocket. And I'm like, yeah, I think Sam absolutely is an 8 up. In the current meta, he dominates. Yeah, I think
I respect the meta thing a lot, but I don't think we should necessarily just go by the meta because the meta fluctuates. So just because a model's popular now doesn't, like, that's where we got into with the Sabretooth problems. Like, Sabretooth got rated really high because he was played everywhere when we made the rating. But yeah, I agree that it is important to take that into account. I don't think you're crazy. Like, that number doesn't scare me. Like, 9 I can see on the board. Like, he is a very, very impactful model.
My problem is he doesn't really go anywhere else that's not his affiliation.
A lot of leaders tend to be that way.
So
Yeah.
I actually think he does. I don't think it'd be wrong to splash him anywhere.
Yeah. I've seen him splash several times, and it was always good.
I don't think he's the first one you grab anywhere, but
I think him and Gwen are criminally underused out of their affiliation.
I think people know about Gwen. I think Gwen's in a lot of shit.
I never see her. Never see her.
So you're on an 8, you said?
I'm on a 9.
You're on a 9. 3-point model, does all the stuff he does. Leader. Yeah, he's really good. 8.
All right, so now I'm going to do some math, see what I have to rate to bring down your number creep.
You're like 4.
I am going to say 7. I think I'm going to average us to an 8. I think over 8 is... I think he's okay at a 9 probably, but I think you're just really high on him right now. I think he bad touched you a couple too many times. What do you think, Aaron? Am I crazy? Is this one of the best leaders in the whole game?
No, you're not crazy.
I think he is one of the best leaders in the whole game. I'll give him that.
I think the big sell for me is that he's only a 3-point leader.
Yes.
That's very rare and valuable.
He's a 3-point leader. His leadership is fantastic. Yeah, and he can do shit far away from you.
Mm-hmm. All right, moving on. My pick. Let's do Hulkbuster.
The Buster of Hulks.
Let me pull him up. We have Hulkbuster's offense. Well, of all the models named Hulk, he's probably the weakest as far as damage output goes. All right, so we have Heavy Repulsor Blast. It's a 6 dice energy attack, range 3. Always pushes short. Meteor Punch, cost 3, range 3, 8 dice physical. The target does not gain power for damage dealt. If the stack deals damage and the character is size 4 or less, you may push it throw it medium away. Oh, I thought it just pushed.
God, that's such a good attack.
That's so good.
Yeah, for 3 power.
Yeah,
that's what I'm looking at. Wow.
Hit and run for action economy, which is great, and then he also has Now I'm Mad, which is cost 3, choose a size 4 terrain feature within 2, throw it medium. He also generates 2 power a turn. He is a exceptionally well designed model in my opinion. This is like the new wave of what expensive models should look like to me.
I keep looking at his card and asking myself why I don't play this model more.
Yeah, he's so
I know.
Once you get past like the understanding the flow of his abilities, he is so well designed. Like you can like script his turn like so far in advance because you know what he's gonna do, and he always gets to do his stuff. It's so cool. So he's got a 6 die builder, an 8 die spender, and he's got potentially 2 throws. Well, I guess 3 in a turn potentially.
It's fucking builder's energy. I mean, you can't get better than
that. And he's got action economy. The only thing he doesn't have is dice mods, really. I'll give him, I want to say an 8, but I think I'm going to stop at 7, just because he doesn't have consistency. He's just got high base dice. What do you think, Aaron?
I was going to say 8. So who has a better attack suite in the game than he does?
Just the attack profiles, maybe Corvus or Magneto.
Right. So, I was thinking Corvus.
5 and 6 pointers, yeah, like really 5 and 6 pointers is pretty much it.
Well, points don't matter, right? We're grading on an absolute scale.
Well, then, Dormammu, Malekith.
Right. So Malekith is probably better.
I would say both Hulks, arguably, because that's the thing. If we're only talking about damage output, then there are people better. For just pure efficiency, I don't know if there's anyone better. Like, his attacks are so well designed because he's always building power. He's usually building multiple power, and then he's got a great spender that does all kinds of stuff.
Right, and he's range 3 versus the range 2 of the Hulks. So, I don't know. Well, if you can count the number of people with better attacks on one hand, I think you're at least at an 8.
That's fair. I'm not going to argue. I think the big part of his kit is that he's not just about dealing damage.
Yeah. So if you put those attacks on a 4-point model, you bring them in every list, right? So I think his attack suite is awesome. It's just, is it worth 6 threat?
Jeremy, do you have an offensive number? We're basically both at 8.
8's fine. I can live with it.
But can you, though?
No.
Okay. Defense. All right, so he's 13 health on the front. That's effectively all of his hit points. Although he has a pseudo backside that is really cool. He has a little ejecto pseudo boy. So his front side is 4/3/3. He has a response to being targeted by an attack that reduces the total damage of the attack by 1. So it's after normal mitigation though, so it can reduce damage to 0. And also you can't be pushed as a result of the attack. His leadership, which is not commonly taken, is reduced collision damage by 1. It's not nothing, but it's just okay. 13 health, plus he's probably going to stop another 3 to 6 damage throughout the course of a game with Built to Take It. So he's on the par with Hulk survivability, but he actually doesn't die when he's dazed. He gets a backside that has a really, really small chance of resurrecting him. But also, mainly, he's not going to be near you like Hulk will. Hulk will have to get engaged at some point. He's going to stay pretty far away the whole time. I actually think he's harder to kill than... I think his defense is better than his offense. But I don't know if it's that much noticeably better, so I'm going to put him at an 8 as well.
I'm going to soft disagree. So you have a typical 13 health model has a front and a backside. which insulates them from significant spike damage. Right? If you've got 2 health left and you take 6, well, you really only take 2. The problem with all of your big health pool models are there's no safety net. You're taking all damage all the time.
Yeah.
So I think that like Hulk's got the 20 health to really be able to take it on the chin, obviously depending who you're going up against. Hulkbuster can be 1-rounded or 2-rounded relatively easily, obviously depending on the matchups. He also has less direct control. Like Hulk as a controller will double move and throw you medium. Hulkbuster cannot throw as an action of itself, which is probably good for the character, but means that he isn't able to get away from people without using hit and run. So I'm not in love I'm not in as much love with his defensive suite as you are.
Well, I mean, if he just walks up and shoots you, he'll be further away than Hulk would be, because he's range 3 plus short instead of range 2 plus medium.
Assuming that the person's not backstopped or something to that effect, yes.
Well, but that's the same with the throw. Like,
Hulk can throw omnidirectional, so
sure, but he can't throw you away omnidirectional. Like, you're ending closer than that. If that's, I'm just saying, just for keeping the distance.
Yep. If I had to give a number value to his defense, it'd probably be a 6.
Also, for very similar amount of power, you can meteor punch them, which admittedly is not guaranteed to deal damage, but it's an 8-die attack, so it's very commonly dealing damage.
I would assume.
And then you have an omnidirectional medium throw.
Yep. My answer is 6.
I'll land in the middle with a 7. I think when he starts getting damaged, he starts piling on power, and then he actually can do meteor punch, hit and run, meteor punch again. And there's nothing that can be, I mean, he can get away.
If you come up short, you definitely get punished. I think his survivability is directly tied to the skill of the user. I think knowing when to engage with him is really important. Just like Hulk, like when you see new players just run down middle with Hulk, like he just dies so fast. But Hulkbuster is very similar. It's like if you engage at the right time, but he can kite people for days. God, he can end like range 8 away from something he just attacked. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on. Support. His leadership's fairly lackluster. He has no other support to my knowledge. Yeah. I'd softball this at a 3, just because he's a leader, basically.
Okay.
Arguments against?
Nope.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay. Control. Hello, we have a winner. This guy... Now, admit the biggest problem with his kit is that he can only control twice a turn. But he has guaranteed push control on any model. It's fucking great. And it's energy, so none of the people that are currently unpushable stop this. Unless they have, like, Built to Take It or like Magneto's Force Projection.
What do you mean by that?
Oh, like, Juggernaut's helmet ability doesn't stop. It only stops mystic attacks. Sentinels can be pushed by this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Okay.
He is a controller for sure.
Yeah,
he controls everything.
Yeah, he has incredible control. But it is limited twice a turn, so I would probably put it at an 8. I'm gonna say 8. He's like the opposite of Sam. It's like he has exactly 2 controls, but they always fucking work.
I don't know. If you don't have an on-demand omnidirectional throw, I'm not sure you can be an 8 or higher.
His is pretty on-demand. It's not an ability, but it's about as consistent as you can get without it being a superpower.
I will agree with that.
Why does it need to be a throw and not a push for control?
Because there are so many ways to backstop pushes. Just
you backstop throws in exactly the same mechanic.
If you can picture just a stop sign and you are backstopped directly across from the attacker. If I can throw you, I can throw you. So in my mind, it's not really, we talked defensively a little bit, but if I can just get you off that point, right, which is what you use a lot of throws and pushes for. I don't know. The ability to, A, have it on a superpower, but B, have it be on the directional.
So you're saying that because of geometry, it's easy to stand directly in front of something and like not get pushed away unless they're at like a 45-degree angle or whatever?
Yes.
So in that situation, he can either move up and shoot you to get the angle he needs and then hit and run back.
Yep.
He can throw the terrain that you're standing in front of, or depending on the size, throw something or you into said terrain and then push you away. So he's not completely locked out like Shuri is.
Completely agree. He has options, but he
can
might
also just walk up and meteor punch you and then just throw you sideways.
The meteor is a throwaway, but
no. Oh, it is a way. Gotcha.
So he has options, but there may be situations where none of them might be applicable. I don't know. I agree. It is good. He does control.
Yeah.
But if I actually wanted a controller, I think I'd rather take Hulk over Hulkbuster. How about that?
I think that is an opinion I disagree with.
Fair enough.
I think the level of effort you have to go through to get the same amount of control as Hulkbuster with Hulk is incredibly different. Like, and not to mention the position you would have to be in and like the at risk you would be compared to Hulkbuster. Like, the position you have to stand in with Hulk to do that work is so much more dangerous than where Hulkbuster could be and do this exact same job.
So my counterpoint to that would be, again, current meta. Why is everyone and their brother taking Hulk and you never see Hulkbuster? And everyone who's taking him is taking him for control, not attrition.
I do see Hulkbuster.
Ooh, okay.
I actually haven't seen Hulk in quite a long time.
I should open my eyes then.
Well, I mean, we don't always play at the same events, but yeah. And you also play TTS, and I don't. And I know he's popular in TTS.
Yeah, maybe everyone's missing the ball in this guy.
I've always kind of had the opinion that TTS is a think group, and so they get into a we're right logic train a lot. And I'm not saying that the decisions they come to are not correct or very correct a lot of the time, but I think it leads to a diminishing returns pool that is like a. I'm not trying to say this as a negative, but like I feel like the group think drives the meta very hard in TTS. Like the lists we see are much more similar to each other than anywhere else. Like if you go to an actual in-person tournament, I never see like the consistency of list building like I do in TTS.
Fair enough.
All right.
Jeremy, what are your thoughts?
I kind of land in between again. I think
non-committal bastard.
Well, look, man, I think you're absolutely right. Like his push, he can move anything in the game basically, and then go anywhere. Like it's crazy the amount of movement he has and the stuff he can do.
How about this? Like, I actually typed Hulkbuster, so I couldn't pull up Hulk's card. All right, let's see. So outside of getting a wild on Hulk Smash, I guess you could just push anything, so that's fair. But it's only a way. So he can't deal with the size 5 characters as easily as Hulkbuster can. How about that? Do you think that the advent of producing 3 more size 5 models that are going to be in the meta now, do you think that impacts Hulk's functionality at all?
It could.
Can regular Hulk not throw them?
He cannot throw them with his superpower. He can throw them on a wild Hulk Smash.
I don't foresee Sentinels being a super competitive roster. So I concede your point as being very valid, while still saying probably not.
Is Malekith size 5 or 4?
4.
So 4. Okay.
Well, if anything, this discussion about Hulkbuster has convinced me to put him in my next roster.
I think if you look at Hulk and Hulkbuster and you come to the conclusion that Hulk has more control, I think you're insane. Like, that's literally what Hulkbuster does. Like, he wins the Hulk versus Hulkbuster duel on control alone because he just out-controls Hulk.
I think the big difference, though, is Hulkbuster can be knocked out quicker by
it's possible, yeah.
2 giant hits and he's down. Hulk 2 giant hits and you still probably got 1 or 2 more to do.
He's probably got 1 more big hit surviving him.
I think that's pretty much the only difference when it comes to the control and stuff. But
right.
I
but
do
against
think
small attacks, I think Hulkbuster is just strictly superior. Like against the rapid fire type models, like Hulkbuster is almost never taking damage.
Yeah.
4 physical plus DR, like he just doesn't take damage.
And I also agree that, like some of these TTS things that are coming out, like they're all very similar to their thinking because that's what they're doing and that's who they're seeing. That they're kind of following the winners a lot of times and they don't get out of the box. I don't think people have explored Hulkbuster near enough.
I know there was a time period when he was super popular and that we've kind of rotated away from him for right now. But yeah, I think he's very viable. Anyway, so Jeremy refused to give an actual answer. So you said between 5 and 8. So what's the between 5 and 8?
I was giving him a 6.
Oh, you gave him a 6. Okay, so 6 and 8, so 7. Gets a 7.
Sure.
This is gonna be something we have to come back and re-rate. This is gonna be great. All right. So, what is his role? What is his class?
Same as
I think
Sam.
you make an argument for brute. I think you make an argument for skirmisher, which is kind of where I'm at, honestly.
I am too.
He's kind of a stick and move kind of guy. Pretty much anyone with hit and run is going to fall into skirmisher, I think. And then you could also call him a controller. Jeremy, do you have
I'm with you, skirmisher. I don't think he controls well enough. A couple bodyguards and stuff kind of stop what he's trying to do.
All right, so we have a 6.8737 skirmisher in Hulkbuster. Give me some overall ratings.
7.
I actually agree with 7.
That was my first instinct too.
777, baby, we did it.
Whew. Damn, that was a good one.
Yeah, we gotta do a lot of talking on that one. I think he does have some vulnerabilities. He is a little fragile for a 6-pointer. He does want to stay alive, but when he flips to his backside, I think people underrate the backside. He is squishy as fuck on the backside. But do you know what his attack does on the backside, guys?
Isn't it rapid fire?
Range 4, 4 dice energy, gainer. After attack resolve, push the character away short. So auto push any size still on the backside, and then wild rapid fire, which is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
He actually gets better at controlling on the backside. He's just like double taps you with a push. You're like, fuck me.
I just keep thinking about him, and then Malekith just eats him. Like that's what I imagine happening.
He also has slippery on the backside.
Oh god.
So if you hit him, he takes damage. He just moves away medium.
The dude, I mean, I think a good player, like seriously, you'll never kill him because you'll never get to him.
Yeah, he just turns into Shuri on the backside. Anyway, moving on. So we have Iron Fist, Luke Cage, and War Machine left. Jeremy, it's your pick.
Let's do Iron Fist. Dun 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 dun.
Oh god. The model that gained 10% value over the last month.
Yeah.
Alright, offense. So we've got Chi Strike as his builder. It's range 2, 5 dice energy with stun on a wild. Flying Kick, range 3, 4 dice physical, gainer. After attack is resolved, placed within one of the target. And then the Iron Fist, range 2, 9 dice energy, cost 8. Before damage is dealt, enemy characters within 3 of the target suffer 1 damage, and then 4 damage is dealt if the target character has an activated token, it gains stagger. If not, it gains an activated token and is thrown away short. Character gains 2 power per turn. He has Martial Artist out to range 3. He's got 10 hit points and 3s. Alright. Jeremy, sell me on Iron Fist's offense.
Well, if we're counting builders, it is a 9 dice energy attack that does all kinds of crazy shit.
Spenders. If we're counting
spenders.
Arguably the best spender in the whole game.
Yeah, it's it's the once a game activate stagger. I mean, what's the value of that?
It's
right?
basically a tactics card. You might as well just play Helios Laser instead.
That's definitely a thought. I don't even know how you rate it. It's a once a game thing, man. What is it?
Yeah,
what's the value of that?
Well, I mean, most 3-pointers only get like 1 good turn anyway. Probably 5.
Offensive output, that's not what you take it. I'm going to say a 4. And it would be a 3 otherwise, but it's got a fucking Iron Fist on there.
I'm okay with a 4.
Yeah, I'm saying 4.
Aaron?
I was going to go 2.
That shit's personal.
Not really.
He's got a dragon on his hand.
Aaron is not allowed to give any of the middle numbers. They've been taken out of his book.
So average is 3, right? If average is
He's
3,
like the judge at the judges booth at the Olympics, and someone he spilled half the cards on the ground. He's like, 2 is the only number I have left.
So that's predicated on not considering Iron Fist a damaging ability.
Mm-hmm.
If you just look at Chi Strike, right? Range 2, 5 dice is about as bad as it gets. It is energy.
But it is an energy attack, and it applies stun, which is an offense, but it's not. He also has a range 3 gap close. Like, that's not nothing.
He's got a lot of movement shenanigans.
Mm-hmm.
Are we going to consider that
a
offense?
Lot? He has 1.
Right. Well, okay, flying kick's really good. Right.
Flying kick
Place
is
within
really
1. And you can flying kick, and all of a sudden you're halfway across the board and you double attacked.
Yeah.
So I think that is one of the best things about him. But in terms of Iron Fist is going to open up a whoop-ass can on you without using his spender, No, not at all. I can be talked to a 3. He can be straight average.
Well, I think you have to include the spender. It's a
You
fucking
have to
9
include the
dice.
spender.
Okay,
You
fine.
have to-
He's a 4.
So it's an energy, and it has that big ass spender.
If you just don't count Hulk's throws, he's a terrible model. Like, I'm just saying. Like,
Well,
what the fuck
so
are
I
we
was going to
doing
give
here?
him the benefit of the spender in the control grade.
Okay, but in a game he uses Iron Fist, though, he's probably a 6. And so let's just take that extra 4 points and average it out to a 4.
Okay,
I'm putting
4.
4. We're moving on. I'm not going to argue about this for 10 minutes.
Write it down, Donnie. Write it down.
Alright, I think a 4 is fine. I think, honestly, a 5-die energy builder and a gap close makes him a 4 on its own. I think we could have made an argument for a 5, personally.
I think we could have too, but man, somebody just has it against this guy with no shirt.
Fucking, I cannot wait till we get to, like, well, martial arts doesn't work against mystics. You can't even count that. Like, it's going to be great.
I think you need to
Iron
redefine
Fist
average in
defense.
this game.
Average.
Yes.
It's a verb, right?
They're superheroes. They're not average.
Okay.
Anyway, moving on. So defense, we've got a 10 hit point threes across the board. I'm gonna give him an 8 just to offset Aaron's 1. In all seriousness, he has Master Martial Artist, which is an amazing ability. It says energy and physical attacks targeting him within range 3. He counts blanks in defense. That's not nothing, but it's also not the best. So
That one, I'm giving him a 5 in defense. I mean, martial arts is sick. Sometimes he just doesn't die.
it is really good against like rapid fire stuff. Like he's very good against rapid fire.
He's good against rapid fire. He's good against pretty much anything that doesn't swing more than 5 dice at you and isn't mystic,
Yeah,
which is a lot of things.
it's actually most of the game.
Yeah.
Aaron, I'm waiting for this one.
Oh no, I
Anytime.
already said I agree with Jeremy.
Oh.
It's a 5.
Oh, so you agree with the 5?
Yeah.
Oh my
So it's going to
God,
average
what's
out at like a
happening?
7.
What is happening? All right, so we got 2 5s. I'm gonna vote 4, and it'll average up to a 5.
What is this game we're playing
right
right now? I don't
I'm set at
understand
4.
it.
All right, support. He has none. Moving
10.
on.
Oh, wait, what?
Control. All right, so based on the numbers we gave Hulkbuster, he's probably going to get a 1. Like Iron Fist, he just gets shit on.
Oh my god. Welcome, new Black Cat. No. Oh my god. New Black Panther.
So realistically, he has stun on his builder on a wild. And then Iron Fist, which is, like we said, probably once a game. Maybe even a coin flip once per game. And it's going to auto stagger or apply activated. More importantly, it's going to fucking throw everybody. That's actually the big part nobody remembers.
No.
Oh, sorry, they take 1 damage, they don't get thrown. My bad.
That's
Sorry.
why no one remembers it.
Yeah, this doesn't happen. It's the main guy gets thrown. Yeah.
And I mean, that's a
I'm gonna
pretty big
start-
deal.
Go ahead.
I was just saying, that's a pretty big deal to activate a model. I mean, that's...
It is big. It's the
That's
reason
crazy.
he gets played.
Yeah.
Yep.
Let's be serious here. The only reason this model would ever see the table is to spend 8 power to activate Malekith. That's what we're talking about here.
Malekith or Thanos or whatever, right? But
No,
you have
it's
to
just
include...
Malekith.
I mean, for control, you have to include his tactics card in this. Like,
Ooh.
that's another thing.
Excuse me, you said his tactics card. Which one would that be? Kunlun training? You said his.
Oh, Jesus Christ. No. The one that Luke Cage can play as well.
I'm on. I think that's Luke Cage's tactics card.
Oh, is it? Okay.
I'm gonna evoke Brandon's ire and say 5.
I actually think that's way too high.
For
No,
control?
5 is probably fair. Because it's either an 8 or a 1, right? Like, that's the 2 numbers, so averaging to a 5 I think is fine.
Oh my god.
The fact that he can flying kick in and then spend 8 to do Iron Fist if your opponent is asleep, that's really good. I mean, some people people have
my
narcolepsy.
God.
It's fine. Like, I remember the one time I let a guy at a convention use it on me, and I was like, man, this guy seems pretty new, and he's pretty cool. I'm just going to let him use Iron Fist on me. And it wrecked me so bad.
Oh,
He
God.
hit 4 people with the splash, and then threw the main target into one of the splash people. Dazed 2 people and activated the main target. I'm like, this was bullshit. Like, it's like, why would anyone ever let their opponent do this? Yeah, and so then I just never did again because it was not fun. So I'm fine with a 5. I think that's where my story was going.
Oh my god! I think I count the tactics card as well. It's a 7. Fucking deal.
Why would you ever use it on this guy?
Because he's the one you took.
Then he dies. Like, you've made a poor choice. They're both... What affiliation is one of them in and not the other one?
Midnight
They're
Suns?
both 3 points.
Yeah, Midnight Suns.
No,
Or
Luke Cage is a Midnight Sun. You were
Moon.
confused.
Yeah.
I mean, I know he's
No,
not, but he
Luke-
is.
Okay, I was like, wait a second.
He is. You gotta understand. Like, it's
They're both in
semantics.
Defenders, but not Midnight Suns. Anyway, I know you hate all that crap, and I actually hate him. Like, I don't play him, I don't like him, but I think that there's strong, like, what's the hardest fucking control in the game? Activate your guy or KO them.
Activation tokens are hard to get around. There's only 2 effects that get around it.
Oh my god.
As opposed to Days, which there was 1 until recently, now there's 0. Days is way harder to get rid of.
Oh my god.
Like, per capita, it's objectively true. It's way easier to get rid of that.
Still 7.
It's not a 7.
Maybe an 8. You're convincing
You're
me for an
insane.
8.
I'm gonna go 1.
The
How
more
about
we
that?
talk about it, the more it's going up.
If you say 10 and I say 1, it's a 5.
Okay, sure.
Alright. Are you actually saying 7? You think Heroes for Hire on a model that has these defensive stats is valuable? Remember, you don't throw them if they daze you.
Correct.
So...
There's no argument here. I'm already told you.
Fine, it rounds up to a 6.
Oh my god.
Alright, what is our roll for this guy? I'm not even gonna try. I have no idea.
Trash.
Trash. I like how you're arguing for a 7 or an
Only
8,
on
and
one
then
part.
say he's
Only
made
on a
of
small
trash.
piece.
The model is just glued together pieces of trash. The model literally is trash, though. Have you tried to put that guy together? That guy sucks.
The dragon's easy. Comes in one piece.
The dragon that's the worst part.
If
His
you
hand
categorize him,
puppet.
he has to be a controller. As bad as that is.
You think so?
I mean, he's not a scrapper or a brute.
I'm gonna argue skirmisher because he jumps around and he's like dodgy.
Oh, he jumps toward you.
Yeah, that's around.
Okay.
That's also around.
There's where do the models hang out around there.
I
don't
forgot
know.
how you skirmish.
Yeah, I have no
Fixed
idea.
bayonets. That's how I skirmish.
I think that's a
I mean,
problem with Iron
technically,
Fist.
he's
It's like, what the fuck is
supposed to
he?
be a scrapper. He's just terrible at it.
He's got his shirt
fine,
off. He's
but-
ready.
I'm gonna say controller. I don't think the model's designed to be a controller. I think it's designed to be a scrapper, but it's just bad at it. We'll move on.
I control.
Uh,
I concur.
All right.
So we have a 3.4516 controller.
Average is a
3.
3.
3.
3.
3.
I'll say 4.
Ooh, averages to a 3. Aaron, you're up. You get to pick a model. Hey, look, I bet you're not picking War Machine.
Okay. Well, then I won't.
I've already picked Luke Cage.
Great. Luke
I
Cage
got
it
it
is.
up on my screen. All right, offense. He's got the Power Man punches, which is a punch, and then he's got Sweet Christmas, which is not a punch. It is a Christmas.
It's a card.
Sweet Christmas is range 3, 7 dice, 4 cost. Throws on a wild up to size 3, and it's omnidirectional. Auto apply, slow, and stun. For 2, he can throw terrain of up to size 2, short. That's it. So offense. What are we talking here? I'd probably open with a 4.
I was gonna say 4. Let's
He's
do it.
slightly better than average, but not
Yep.
like noticeably so.
Why would you consider him above average?
Because the average 3-point model in the game does not have a throw or a 7-die attack, even for that matter.
All right.
He has
Well, he
2
can also
potential
throw.
throws.
He can also throw shit at people. So I was saying maybe a little more than that.
You think he's higher? Okay,
A little bit.
so
Yeah.
I don't think he generally has power to use Sweet Christmas because he tends to spend all of his power on either tactics cards or throwing terrain. But it is a good attack. The fact that you can only throw size 2 terrain is kind of meh.
So 3, 4.
I
So
mean,
you
it's going to
think
average
4?
to a 4 anyway.
Yeah.
I said 4.
Four's
Aaron
okay.
else-
He's not taking
Four's
for his
fine.
damage.
Yeah, that's certainly. And more importantly, he's not usually in a location to make meaningful attacks. How about that? He's usually like standing in the middle of all your guys. Moving on, we have defense. He is a 11 hit pointer, 6 on the front, which is better than average. 4/3/3 with unbreakable skin, reduces damage by 1 to a minimum of 1, and he's immune to bleed. So What do we think about this?
6.
I was gonna say 6, potentially a 5.
I think 5 is actually correct. It's just that we view it through that 3 cost lens so hard that he's so good for 3. So I think I'm actually going to argue 5 as well.
Okay, I can go to 5. We can average to 5.
Jeremy, did you say a number yet? Did I just miss it?
I said 6. You guys dropped it down. That's fine.
Nice. We're just going to disagree with him all day. Support.
I don't care.
I do not care.
I don't care on this guy. It's fine.
No support. Moving on. Control. I've hit Power Man Punch's Stagger 1 time. It was
Have you?
Sweet. My opponent was very annoyed.
That's one more than
Sweet
me.
Christmas is his only other form of control, and it is the least used thing on his card. That being said, it is good. Like, slow and stun, and potentially throwing them. Pretty solid.
So it throws size 3, which can be really good. So I've found if you are facing someone who's size 3, and you know that Luke Cage is one of your only ways to do it, then instead of spending the power with Street Fighter to throw terrain, you save up for Sweet Christmas and do that.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, his control isn't that great.
Do we want to lump Heroes for Hire into his support value before we go too far ahead?
Yeah, I mean, it makes him a bodyguard for a turn. I mean,
he pseudo has bodyguard already.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So do we want too dangerous to ignore that support, right?
I totally forgot.
So.
I was just I was half asleep and just skipping past all this stuff.
Then yeah, so Luke Cage's support's really good.
Yeah. So I probably give him a 3 for having taunt, and then probably give him another 2 points for Heroes for Hire because it's so fucking good.
I'm okay with that.
You guys good with 5, Jeremy?
Heroes for Hire gives an extra point for me. I go 6.
Do you think Heroes for Hire is worth 3 points?
Yes. It comes out of nowhere. It's ball breaking when it happens.
All right. Well, I'm gonna stick at a 5. Aaron, are you sticking with a 5? You going up to a 6?
Let's do a 6. Because I do agree with Jeremy. Like,
fair.
you have to plan your entire
this model
game plan
would
around
not
it.
get played without Heroes for Hire.
Correct.
So it's that good. I'm fine with it. All right, so back to Control. I think we had settled on Sweet Christmas was good, but not that useful. I think it has spots. Stagger's all but worthless. I give him like a 3, maybe a 2.
I was going to go 3.
Jeremy?
2. I think it's below average for Control.
2s have it. He's obviously a defender. / tank. All right, so we have a 3.4562 defender. Give him a rating, guys.
6.
With Heroes for Hire, I concur.
I'm fine with that. 6 sounds good. All right, moving on. If we had rated this guy 6 months ago, he probably would have got an 8.
Probably.
This guy was fucking everywhere for like a year.
He was on everybody's list. He's probably in half of the lists out there, at least.
He gets played a lot.
There are some lists that almost require him.
Yeah. He's the atypical go-to protect my dude.
Yep.
So moving on, we have War Machine, James Rhodes, pulling up offense. Boy, does he have offense. All right, so he's 5 health on front and back. He's a 4/3/3. He has titanium armor plating, so he reduces damage by 1 to a minimum of 1. He has flight. Attacks, he has a beam 3 5 dice builder that applies bleed on a wild. Physical attack. All of his attacks are physical. Rocket pods, which is really interesting. It's kind of a unique attack almost. It's kind of like the Doomsday Chair on MODOK a little bit. It's range 4, 4 dice, has the barrage rule. After attack is resolved, this character makes 1 additional rocket pod attack. The attack must target another enemy character within 2 of the original target, and it does not have the barrage rule on the second attack. And then his big one, Empty the Clip, range 3, 8 dice, cost 4. When resolving the criticals, roll 2 additional dice for every critical. At the end of the attack, suffer damage for each critical in the roll. So, what do we feel about this boyo?
Well, he doesn't come with an assortment. It's all physical. That's one problem.
All physical is definitely the downside. He has a very solid beam attack as his base. Then he's got a good I need to kill you button. And then rocket pods is just whatever. It's rarely ever used. It's only used when you really don't want to leave your point, but also want a range 4 attack.
Empty the Clip is one of those that when it first came out, it kind of blew everyone's mind.
Yeah.
Which is cool, but I can't, like, it's fizzled so many goddamn times.
I actually think it's pretty cool. The fun thing you can do is use stuff like Shuri to reroll your criticals after you've gotten them, so that they don't hurt you.
That's pretty funny.
It is cute. It's just okay. I mean, it's an 8 dice spender, right, for 4 power. Like, it's balanced without having any text on it. If it was just a range 3 8 dice 4 cost, it'd be good.
Yeah.
And so
Really?
the fact that people, I think it would be.
Compare that to Meteor Punch.
It's a 3-point model.
Should that matter?
Yes. Well, I mean, when you're designing models, yes. Like, am I saying that I'm giving him like an 8 on offense? No, because he shouldn't have an 8 on offense. He's a 3-pointer. But like, I would say he's probably in the range of maybe 4, maybe 5. I think 4. The fact that he's got a beam as his basic attack is huge.
As a gainer.
Like, so few models have that. Specifically,
Or a builder.
low point models. Yeah. It's a builder that's a
crazy
beam 3.
Beam 3 straight. Yeah.
Is it the
crazy builder.
only builder beam in the entire game?
I believe so.
Because I'm pretty sure Vision and Enchantress and all those people are gainers.
Yep, they are.
So I think it's not necessarily great on its own. He doesn't have a good use for power, so it doesn't really matter that it's a builder. Except that he's going to empty the clip more often, which is whatever. Having an 8 dice spender is pretty cool. There's very few models in the game that have an 8 dice spender.
That has a bonus structure too. It can really pop. I mean, his damage output is incredible. Like, he can do a lot.
I don't know if I'd go incredible. It's above the curve. But he is fairly short range. Like, it's range
for his
3.
point cost.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, in a vacuum, whole game, I'd give him probably a 4. I think I could easily be talked up to a 5 just because he has a printed 8 dice attack. Like, that is very uncommon. Even for the whole game, that's uncommon.
I think a 5. I mean, Rocket Pods, it's free. It's range 4. If you need a couple damage out there, like, it can make it happen. Empty the Clip is a humongous attack.
Yeah.
If you got a tactics card that costs a bunch to play, he's the guy. Like, he can gain a bunch of power easy with Metal Storm.
He's amazing at fighting into groups because it actually takes a lot of attacks to bring him down on average because he's got a very, very reliable defense. And then he can usually put out, he's averaging 3, maybe 4 attacks a turn in like the thick of it. Like, he's getting a lot of attacks, even if they're not super premium attacks.
I can give you a 5. Your baseline 3 +1 for Metal Storm and +1 for Empty the Clip.
Yeah. Jeremy.
5 is fine.
All right, defense. He only has 10 hit points, is kind of holding him back, but I mean, he's almost exactly Iron Man's defense.
Yep.
Semantically different.
I mean, damage reduction brings him to a 7 hit point. Like, it's pretty silly.
Per side, yeah. Like, he's huge jump for damage reduction. It is the most reliable form of defense. So for a 4/3/3 with damage reduction on a 10 hit point frame, I'd probably say a 5.
Brennan.
That's fine. 5's good.
All right, support, he definitely has none. Control, he definitely has none. I'm not counting a single bleed. He is clearly a blaster. So we have a 3.5511 blaster. Does he do his job? Kill stuff, don't die.
Feels like a mouthfeel of a 5.
I was actually going to say 4.
Yeah.
The model completely lacks dynamic aspects and tempo. He wants people to walk into him and die. That's all he wants to do.
I think he's waiting for a different leadership. I feel like he's waiting for that suit leadership that'll come out eventually.
I mean, that might happen, but he lives in Sam, in my opinion. The Sam Go Wide list.
Oh, yeah.
Built on the back of 4 models with 4 physical defense and DR. Like, it's like Luke, Iron Man, this dude, and Lizard. And it's like, go nuts, guys. And it's just like, they never die. God, it takes so long to eat through that fucking list. But I think I'm happy with a 4. He's nothing to write home about. He's just solid.
I would have gone a little lower because you never see him outside of that one list.
Yeah, because Lizard exists.
Yes, because you asked the question, does he do his job? The answer is yes. He shoots stuff and is relatively hard to kill for his point cost. The problem is that's all he does. 0 support, 0 control, no movement shenanigans on a medium move, small base, and no one's looking for that in list building.
Currently, that is correct. But there was a time when that was all people were looking for. So I think that's kind of an aspect of the times, which is why I went 4.
Yeah.
I do not think he is popular in the current meta, nor should he be.
I can agree with everything you're saying. So a 4
I wish
sounds
he had
good.
something to spend his power on. That's what always got me. He always is
Yeah,
just chock full of power.
I kind of wish Empty the Clip had like the Sentinel thing where you could overspend to get extra dice.
Yeah, something.
Then he'd be spicy. Yeah. All right, so it sounds like we're going with 4, even though Jeremy refuses to ever say a number without being prompted. So
I always say a number.
You literally never say numbers unless
I've
say,
said
Jeremy, what's
numbers
your number?
every time before you have said the numbers.
That's not true.
4.
All right. So in summary today, we have... I just deleted all of it.
Okay, let's start.
I didn't delete it. I just unmarked the columns we had just rated. I was like, oh no, I have to find them again. So Sam got an 8. Hulkbuster got a 7. Doc Voodoo got an 8. Iron Fist got a 3. Luke Cage got a 6. And War Machine got a 4.
And those are all correct. If people are
That feels
wondering,
about right, actually. I think I personally would have put Cap and Hulkbuster on the same tier, but him being a 6-pointer, he's definitely not as popular. And for how easy it is to put Sam in a list, I think I can understand the logic behind it. All right. Well, I think that was actually a pretty good rating session. I like that.
I think we did good. We did it just under 7 hours, just like when Parker was here.
17 and 1/2 hours.
It's 4 a.m., guys. We got to go.
I think I have some ideas for next time when we do a rating. I think we'll get through it faster. We actually rated like 6 models is above average for our rating, and we got through it in less than an hour. That's not bad. And after we cut out all the like silently sitting waiting for Jeremy to say a number, like, that'll be 10 minutes.
So the ratings, I think, are almost insignificant. What matters is the discussion about them. And that's what people can take away. I think
the most important part is the conversation between us and basically just getting our thoughts on like how we value things. I think that's the most valuable part of the whole rating system. Alrighty. So moving on, we have a segment that we've used very rarely in the past. We're going to go into our Wild Speculation Corner.
Wild
so
Speculation
this is basically,
Corner.
Yeah.
It's got a song.
That's the Bender song from Single Female Lawyer, right?
Something like that.
Was that not it? Was that not what you were quoting? I thought for sure you were quoting Futurama.
Oh, no.
Okay, moving on. So in this case, we had we found some potential rumors/spoilers online, so we thought we'd bring them to you in case you don't go online. Aaron, do you want to tell us about these possible theoretical spoilers?
Oh God, I'll have to find it now.
Oh God, you didn't pull it up?
Did you tell me to be ready? No.
I mean,
we specifically asked you to memorize it or write it down.
Okay. So.
Did you find it?
Yeah, I'll find it in a second. This was about 2.5 weeks ago. Someone with some previously reliable information posted. So this is like hearsay from third party. Models coming out that they were playtesting.
Mm-hmm.
So here are potential models that might be coming down the pipe. So which of these potentially, again, hashtag rumor mill, models would you be excited about? Rhino, Emma Frost in 2 forms, normal and diamond, Squirrel Girl,
no,
Agent Venom,
ooh,
Phoenix and Dark Phoenix, Mephisto, Echo, Captain America, Isaiah Bradley.
God, can we have a few more of those?
Spider-Woman, and Gwenpool. That's it.
All right. So we should each pick one, is what you're saying? That's what you want to do?
Yes. So which of those people would you be the most excited to come to the MCU universe and why? Or Crisis Protocol?
I'll go first, I guess. I would be excited to see Agent Venom.
I swear to God. You motherfucker.
This is what you get for not giving numbers.
Oh.
You gotta be on it.
So for the people who have no idea who Agent Venom is, why are you excited?
Oh, I don't know a lot about it because I don't read comics. But as far as I understand, he is kind of like Punisher and Venom had a kid. I mean, it is Venom from what I understand, but he basically is just like Special Forces Venom that goes out and is like vigilante hero throughout the galaxy. Like, I think he joins up with the Guardians of the Galaxy for a while. He does all kinds of crazy stuff. I think he shows up in Thunderbolts as well, which is, I believe, going to be one of the upcoming Disney Plus shows. So it actually, I think, makes sense to see him in the game because he'll get a lot of popularity when that happens.
So what affiliations do you think he might be in?
Definitely. Well, I say definitely. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think he'll be in
Certainly
Web
Avengers.
Warriors. Web Warriors, Avengers again, Guardians of the Galaxy, Avengers, Thunderbolts, and Avengers. I think will be the affiliations he'll be in.
Nailed it.
I don't think he'll be a Spider-Foe, even though that was what I was actually going to say first, because he's definitely specifically a hero when he's Agent Venom. Oh, S.H.I.E.L.D. also. I believe the whole thing started because he was like Venom, agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., and so he was Agent Venom.
Okay, so he'll be everywhere. Got it.
Yeah, and so I could be totally murdering this backstory and be confusing two different versions of Venom. But from what I've collected in knowledge, that's what I expect. But also, he uses like Uzis and stuff. It's almost like Spawn. It's really Spawn in the Marvel universe is really what you're talking about. It's just Spawn.
Cool. And Jeremy, why are you excited for Captain America the 4th?
I hate you so much. That I am not excited
Wait,
about.
are we sure that there won't be another Captain America before then?
No.
Is there some sort of Captain America pig? Because I'm certain that will come first. Good Lord.
Peter Porker.
Oh my God. That would be more exciting to me than another fucking Captain America. I'm actually looking forward to, I want to say the Gwenpool thing, because that's what everybody else is be cool with, but I'm going to go a little different. The Phoenix stuff. I like big, nasty models that do crazy shit that are very expensive, and hopefully that's what she is. That would be awesome.
Yeah, for game mechanics, I'd be most excited for Dark Phoenix, probably, because I like big, smashy models.
Mm-hmm.
But for just backstory and coolness, I would want Age of Venom. Aaron, what is your first choice?
I don't know what any of these models are or do.
What?
So
You don't know who Emma Frost is?
no effing clue.
You don't know who Rhino is?
True statement.
Oh my god.
Isn't he played by what's his face? That
Paul
one guy.
Giamatti? Yeah.
That was insane. That cameo was insane.
The actual Rhino character is a Russian mercenary, got hired by this super science corporation that was developing this new set of power armor that was basically just gray poly body armor. It's kind of like super Batman suit, think of.
Okay.
And so they put him in it, and he starts running around, gives him super enhanced strength, and it's like he's basically invulnerable. He basically turns into like a baby, like Juggernaut, basically. He's the Spider-Man version of Juggernaut. And so nothing can stop him. He's invulnerable. He's super strong. But then as he keeps wearing the suit, it bonds with his skin. And then it becomes impossible for him to take it off. And so he basically now has to live in this giant gray suit. And then throughout time, to become a supervillain instead of just being a mercenary, he puts on this big gray hat that makes him look like a rhino. And so the Rhino moniker was like an after the fact kind of thing. But he basically is just, I don't know, random Russian mercenary guy. But he fights Spider-Man a lot.
Oh, man.
Okay.
Hopefully they make a Sinister Six. I'm still waiting for that.
I would actually, so if I knew you were going to take Age of Venom, I would have said Rhino, because I actually would be very excited for Rhino to come to the game. Because I like the super campy Spider-Man villains, like Mysterio and like Lizard and like all that shit. Like that's all fun. Like that's very superheroes, right? Like it's like you can't get any sillier than a man dressed up as a spider fighting a man dressed up as a rhino. Like that's just the dumbest fucking thing. If you put two people in a room like come up with an idea, they would never get to that point.
An
It'd
old
be
man
physically impossible.
dressed up like a vulture.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Old man dressed up as a vulture who steals things. And you're like, what the fuck is your character motivation here? Like, I like vultures. Like, get out of here. What the fuck is happening? The fucking soundstage illusionist guy who becomes Mysterio. Like, that's the dumbest backstory ever. It's great. So good. All right. I can't believe you don't know who Rhino is. That blows me away. All right, well, I guess that will be it for us today. Thank you guys for tuning in. Hopefully you had a good time. This has been Brandon.
It's been Jeremy on Discord.
And Aaron.
And you've just listened to Why Are Avengers?
So what are we going to call this thing?
I got it. Okay. Incredible, new, fantastic, astonishing, mighty, original, uncanny, sensational podcast.
I'm just going to put down infamous.
I think I went early on that second one. That's my bad.
Jesus Christ, it's your count.
I know. Hey, I'm not the one that like coughs instead of clapping sometimes. Oh boy. There's an end in sight, guys. I might be able to play games again vaguely soon.
Are you getting fired?
No.
Oh.
It's just the mountain of work is slowly becoming a hill.
Oh.
You can see the crest. Is what you're telling me?
Yeah.
You can...
I can see that point at which I'll be the tallest object and easily shot. It's gonna be great.
I'll be honest. I intend on playing quite a bit, especially on TTS, starting next week. We'll see how that goes. Nice. But I'd like to get proficient prior to Second Wind.
Cool.
They keep saying that's going to have openings. I heard again today on a podcast that they've got spots.
Yeah, it took them 2 weeks to give me my refund, and they said as soon as they got somebody to fill the spot, they'd have a refund. So I know they were full, but it sounds like there's some people bowing out.
Is it a Chiefs game weekend? Is that why you're not going?
Yeah, yeah, Sunday. Home game.
Who are they playing? Do you remember? Is that
not.
Buffalo? I bet it's Buffalo. That's probably why you were I'm going.
It probably is one of the actually here I'll check. It's probably one of the important games.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I what weekend is Second Wind? I don't even know.
15th of October.
Yeah, that sounds yeah, that's the Bills.
Is it the Bills? Yeah.
Yeah, the Bills.
Going to that one.
The Beals, yeah, October 16th at 3. So if it was a Saturday game, or if a Saturday tournament, it was just going to be over on Saturday, it'd be fine. But to get back from Chicago, we'd have to leave at 7 a.m. to get to the game at start time. And that's very generous driving time. We'd have to leave at 5 a.m. to get back. Realistically.
That sounds like that'll be a really fun football game to be at.
Right. So we effectively, we effectively have to leave Saturday night is the problem. And I messaged them and they were like, yeah, we said the schedule was not firm yet, but they're going to play on Sunday. So, yeah.
I knew there was a reason why I hadn't committed to that one. I thought it was probably football.
Yeah. I only signed up originally because I signed up before football season started. And so I had to be considered that it was going to be during a football game. I was like, damn it. Totally forgot.
Did you make it through The Sopranos without getting the whole thing spoiled yet?
Yes, I watched the end of The Sopranos. So spoilers if you have also not seen The Sopranos yet. But I was actually very frustrated with that whole spoiler situation. That was really annoying.
That was amazing.
It was, I couldn't believe, it's not the show's fault, but it was just weird 1 in a million chance, right? What are the odds I'm watching it? And then I'm watching the new show. And I was on that episode and decided to watch She-Hulk first. And I was like, come on. What are the fucking odds? It's gotta be 1 in a billion.
You're there's definitely a higher power, and there's definitely
actually
laughing.
How about this? If because I think there's a strong chance somebody that watches She-Hulk listens to this show. There's at least it's not a 0 chance. If you were also watching The Sopranos for the first time, and we're on season 5, episode 11, and then decided to also watch She-Hulk before watching more Sopranos, please message us. I want to know if you're also suffering in the same way I was.
He doesn't want to be alone anymore.
Yeah, I don't want to be alone anymore.
So I told my family what happened.
Yeah.
They didn't really understand at first because I just explained. I paused. We caught up on She-Hulk this week. So I paused it when they had the Sopranos episode up on the TV.
You're like,
and I said, so just so you know, Brandon was actually watching this episode. And so I gave the whole spiel.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, that's interesting. And then the spoiler dropped in the middle, and then they understood.
Then they
lost
their
like,
shit. Oh, that sucks!
Yeah.
I bet he's so mad.
Yeah.
And I should have known. The second she said that, I should be like, oh, man, I should have just stopped watching the episode, right? And gone back to Sopranos immediately. But then they dropped the second spoiler in there, too. And I was like, God damn it. I fucking knew it. I knew I should have turned it off. Anyway, so I watched the end of the show. I liked it a lot. It was very good. And so I knew people that watched the show when it was still coming out, and they were obviously huge fans because they were watching the show. But I never watched it, and so I was going in blind. I'd seen maybe 5 minutes of total clips of The Sopranos going into the show. It was a little slow. It was better than Goodfellas. Goodfellas was boring as shit.
Check
Nothing
yourself.
happens.
Hold on.
I know.
You're losing me.
I've drawn this line in the sand before. But Casino is just so much better than Goodfellas. It's like 5 to 10 times better. It's so much better. But anyway, Sopranos, very good. It was a little slow at times. It felt like some of the characters were just like beyond unpredictable. Like, I know that's kind of the point, but it seemed like so unrealistic. It took me out of the show a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
Like his cousin Tony, when he has that incident with his boss at the what's going to be the massage therapy building. I'm just like, this is beyond unrealistic. Like, that's not like how this would ever play out. Like, whatever. And so it took me out of the show. I was like, this doesn't even make sense. Like, there's no motivation for this to happen. It felt like they just wanted more violence. And I'm like, okay, whatever. But the very end scene, I loved it. And then the next day, I watched it again. And I was like, all right, well, this is definitely one of those things that people either love or hate. So let me go to the internet and see what the internet says. Because, like, I've never gone to see what people said about Sopranos on the internet before. And it was pretty universally liked from what I saw. But this is 20 years later, so who knows? And so a lot of people seem to like it. And I looked up some stuff about it. And I was like, oh, this is cool. I'm glad that they left it open-ended like that.
Huh. Well, that's cool. I keep trying to watch it. I just can't get through it. Like you say, it is a bit slow, especially like the way pacing is in shows now. Like, we just get so spoiled with the way it is now. And
it reminds me a lot of Breaking Bad, and not in that the show is very similar, but the pacing is similar. It's like you kind of have a good idea of where it's going, and the suspense of it going there is kind of what drives your emotions throughout the show. So it's hard to sit down and watch an entire season of Breaking Bad. Because the whole point is that, like, 5 days in between watching episodes is what gets you going. It's like, oh man, I can't wait to see what happens next. Like, but it takes you a while to process what just happened. And so I feel like you're supposed to watch one episode a week is kind of the way the show is paced. Because if you watch it in a chain like I did, it gets a little slow. Because they're supposed to be milking the tense. Like, that's all they do.
Yeah, and
when you're just getting tense for 6 hours, it's like, okay, well, I'm just
and like, you're not supposed to emotionally be invested in that way for that long. When you don't get relief, it's like, this is much.
And back when the show came out, that wasn't a thing. Like, you couldn't binge shows really easily back then. You'd have to wait the whole thing to come out, and then a year later it'd be available on DVD or VHS. Like, that was how it used to work. So like, they didn't expect you to sit down and watch the whole thing.
When 24 first came out and people were talking about it, I went to Blockbuster and I rented all of it, right? And I binge watched it on VHS tape, one at a time. Oh man, it was something. That was my first.
I told you about the Battlestar Galactica skit, right?
I don't remember.
Skit. I'm pretty sure I have, but I'll retell it real quick. So the skit starts. There's this boyfriend girlfriend sitting down. They're like, what do you want to do? It's like, well, we got the party in a few hours, but so we can't really go anywhere or do anything, so we're kind of just sitting around waiting to go, and it's a dinner party, so, like, we don't need to make food beforehand, so we're just kind of, like, waiting for the next several hours. What should we do? He's like, well, we got that DVD set of Battlestar Galactica Season 1. We could start that and, like, you know, see if we like it. And so they pop in the DVD and they watch the first episode, and they go, oh, man, that was really good. That was, like, really good. Let's watch another episode. And then we can start getting ready for the party. So they watch the next episode, and they're like, man, this was also really good. Maybe we can fit one more episode in before we have to go to, like, get ready for the party. And so they watch it, and they watch their episode, and they get done, they're like, all right, I'm just going to wear what I'm wearing to the party. We don't really need to get ready. Let's watch another episode. And so they're 4 episodes deep now. And then they go, man, we really should stop. But, like, we can be fashionably late. Nobody's going to be mad at us if we're a little bit late. So they start the 5th episode. They watch the 5th one. And they get to the end of the 5th one. I think it's an 8-episode season. And so they're like, well, we can't stop now. Like, we have to know what happens. And then they're like, well, I'll send him a text and tell him we had car trouble. And so they watch the 6th episode. And then they were like, all right, maybe the party's running late. Like, he got a text back, don't worry, nobody's shown up yet. Sorry, Earth. They watched the last 2 episodes, and they're incredibly late at this point. And they're like, all right, what are we going to do? And they look at their watch, like, all right, if we leave right now, we can still make it. But we have to, like, run out of the house. So they run out of the house, and the door shuts. And then the next frame of the comic comes around, and they walk back in holding a Best Buy bag. And they're like, I can't believe we made it just before close. And then they put in season 2, and they just like, they don't even call the people that they were supposed to meet. They're just like, fuck it. They're dead to us. We're watching Battlestar season 2 now. Like, we're Battlestar people now.
That's great.
I love Battlestar. It's so good.
I know you do. And probably everyone else. I just haven't seen it.
If I can watch The Sopranos, you can watch Battlestar.
There's just way too many things now. I'm just
So bad.
I've moved past it. I've grown.
I've grown. So, Aaron, how have you enjoyed The Boys?
I have enjoyed it. I think the first season was really good. It's one of those shows that, breaks a lot of barriers from standard TV. The problem I had is once it breaks those barriers, that becomes expected. So there's no more barriers to break. So at that point, it's less about shock value and more about actual character development.
Mm-hmm.
I could probably watch Carl Urban all day long, twice on Sunday.
Carl Urban definitely carries the show.
Just doing stuff.
Normally get boring. Yeah, just calling people the C word and walking around. Like, that's really all he needs to do.
Yeah. So between that and the inside of a penis, I mean, I don't know what else you really want from a show.
Would you say that the first episode gave you tunnel vision?
Ew. Have you seen the Go ahead. What were you gonna say?
No, not. I was just gonna sum up by saying it's worth watching, but it's not like gonna win an Emmy.
If you like that aspect of the show but want a different direction, Invincible also on Amazon Prime is also very good.
Yeah,
it's an animated show. It's based on a long-standing comic by Image, I think it is. And I know we've talked about this before, but
you guys have made me put Sandman, Bear, Ice Pirates, and Invincible on the list after Boys.
You can cross off Ice Pirates.
Ice Pirates and Bears should be at the bottom of the list.
Okay.
Jeremy, did you see the Photoshop of Bear with the Ratatouille rat under the hat? There's like a light on behind his chef's hat, and you can see the rat like up on top, like driving him around.
Nice. No, I was gonna say it's a meme, and apparently it's a movie that's coming out about true story of a bear that ate like 1.5 pounds of cocaine. I keep seeing it pop up in my Facebook feed. It's like, life is complete. Now the ultimate movie has been made. Like, what the fuck?
Does the bear steal a bulldozer and drive it through a building?
I have no idea.
It's the only way this movie can end.
I'm like, you had me at bear eats 1.5 pounds of cocaine.
Well, that's all he said, so let me...
Yeah, I'm done.
That happened today. I was watching an episode of Always Sunny right before I joined the call, and the end of the episode is Frank does the "you had me at," but the "at" word was the last word of the sentence that the guy said to him. I'm like, what's the point of saying that? Like, it doesn't make any sense. It's like, rambles on for a paragraph. Last word was goodbye. He's like, you had me at goodbye. It's like, what the fuck? One of the single greatest episodes of Always Sunny, and I can't. Which was the name of it? It was it's like the gang does a rom-com or something like that. They basically do a Airbnb episode where Charlie and Frank rent out their 1-bedroom apartment.
Oh my god!
As a timeshare though. It's like they're there and they're like willing to share 1-bedroom cute apartment.
Oh my god!
So they're supposed to sleep in the same bed as the people that rent the apartment.
Oh my god!
And so then Mac and Dennis are renting out their 2-bedroom apartment to what he believes to be a hot female online, and so Mac's gonna basically be his wingman for the weekend, and he's gonna try and sleep with the girl. And immediately everything goes wrong. And so Frank and Charlie's whole idea is they're gonna get these like crazy European broads to come over and to share their one pull-out sofa futon with 2 women.
Oh.
Just like have a crazy weekend. And it's like, so he gets Alexi and Nikki, these 2 Eastern European people, to come and rent the apartment, and then they show up and it's 2 guys.
Oh my
Just
god!
Like incredibly awkward because
God.
they're like laying face to face in this tiny bed trying to go to sleep.
Anything in their apartment is so funny.
It's so weird. It's so creepy.
Oh my God.
It's so good.
What was the episode where Dee had to stay in the apartment and you learn about the whole Charlie's routine?
It was a day in the life. It's
Oh my God.
Charlie bets Dee she couldn't last one day in his life. And then they reverse the bet, and then it becomes Charlie can't last a day in Dee's shoes. And so he follows Dee to this stand-up comedy place.
Oh my God, that's all in one episode?
Yeah, it's all.
Oh,
there's a whole
it's
nother
so
side plot.
good.
There's 3 separate plots in every episode. But yeah. So they go to this stand-up comedy place, and he's like, "This is great." He's like listening to comedy and like having a beer. He's like, "Do they serve food here?" He's like, "No, you can't eat." He's like, "Why can't we eat?" He's like, "Well, because you'll just the nerves will make you projectile vomit all over the place." He's like, "What nerves?" And then they call Dee Reynolds, and she goes up and tries to do a comedy routine in front of a whole group of
she can't even
people,
start.
and keeps dry heaving in the middle of her sentences because she's so nervous. And then she goes and sits down after they boo her off stage.
Yep.
And the announcer's like, "At least it was dry this time." And then they call Charlie's name. He's like, "What the hell? I didn't sign up." She's like, "I know, I signed you up." So Charlie goes up there, and it's also dry heaving the entire time because he's so scared of public speaking.
Oh my God.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, that episode is brilliant.
There's so many. There's probably 50% of all of their episodes are just pure gold.
Yeah,
the
I would
entire
say
episode
that.
is fucking amazing. And then there's some that are slower for sure. And then there's like one a season is just like I will cry laughing through half the episode. Like it's so good. All right, well that was my off-topic rant, I guess.
There you go.
Yep, we did it.
Pretty sure you did it.
I did it.
I feel like we need to get Connor on here just to rant about football for like 15 minutes too. And then we'd have like this whole like dynamic of like Kansas City culture kind of deal.
I would love to talk about Chiefs football on the podcast for half an hour every week. But I'm really not sure that our fan base wants that.
Yeah, it's
so
very
I'm
possible.
not.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah. I feel like just per capita, when I look at our online stats, seems unlikely that's the fact. That
Are you
seems
saying
very unlikely?
Are you saying people from European countries and
Shit.
Thailand or?
So you guys remember when we did episode 100? It was 5 weeks ago.
Yep.
We had 10,000 listens on that day. We had broken it that week.
Yeah.
We're at 11,000 now. So we got 1,000 more listens in 5 weeks.
Huh.
950 of those are Nigel.
Yeah,
Repeat.
I know.
That's
Don't
probably
spoil my excitement.
that's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it eventually becomes like exponential. Like once you hit a certain
We're
level.
actually kind of at hey, check this out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Our 5th most popular episode all time is episode 100.
Nice.
I was really worried for a while because for like a really long time, all of our top 10s were in the 60s, and I'm like, I get they've been out longer, but like none of the more recent ones are in the top. Like that really concerned me. And now we've got in the top 10, we've got 4 90 plus. So that means people are picking this up.
Yeah.
More recent.
I think it's hard to find content right now. I mean, honestly, so many things have been talked about.
So you're saying we're like the RC Cola machine in the desert?
Yeah, sure. I'll take that.
I'll take it.
The $7 Pepsi at Disney where you're standing there in line. Yeah. You just get it.
And it's like
okay.
it's like the 3-ounce kid size. He's like, I will murder you.
The
for a Pepsi
$17
right now.
beer.
I don't even like Pepsi, and I'm
Yeah.
so thirsty. Room temperature flat Pepsi in a paper cup. You're like, I'll take it.
That's fine.
Here's your $7.
That sounds fine. The $8 small bag of popcorn at the movie theater. That's us. We're just right. You're gonna get it, okay?
Yeah. Cool.
And we're waiting for con season. Like we're right here. Like we're at the precipice. Like it's getting ready to
This
happen.
is con season. What are you talking about? Con season is like from April to
talking about?
November.
I'm with Brandon on
in
this
my-
one.
Not in my world.
Well, you're
When
wrong.
does con season start in your brain?
For me,
Are you like the baseball season guys? Like, no, there's an off season. Like, there's no fucking off season baseball. They play baseball on every fucking day of the year. Like,
No, I always
there's like 9 games going on, and nobody knows what team there are.
Well, I stopped going to Gen Con, so my season, because I feel like there's a huge gap during the summer, and then usually it picks
There's
up
a
for me.
gap? The summer is the con season.
No,
What are
that's
you
just
talking
going to
about?
tournaments. There's not really whatever, dude. I
NashCon,
go to, like,
Nova.
I don't even know how to respond. How long have you thought the con season was in the winter?
Ever since,
Since the beginning of time, obviously.
no, like I always go to Warfare Weekend. I go to Adepticon after that.
It's not
I used to
after
go to
that. That's the
TempleCon, which
next
was around
year.
Christmas, and then I switched it to now it's summer.
Adepticon starts it, and then it ends with Warfare
Well,
Weekend.
you start it there. I don't.
The
I
LVO
just wrap
starts
it around. I just wrap it around.
I don't count. I don't look at my clock like military time. Okay, when it goes to 12, it's just 12. It happens
It's
twice a
still
day. I don't
12.
know which one happened first.
It's the same 12.
There's only 1 month with no cons, and that's December.
That's
February is
over.
kind of
That's the
skosh
offseason.
too, but it goes LVO in
February.
January, Adepticon in March, and then there's something every month through November.
Yep, and mine starts right now.
Okay.
This is the start of con season.
Yeah.
right? September.
Does it end in 2 days for you? Like, what?
It's hard to say.
Next, he'll tell me a season is like every 3 weeks or something, and I'll just start all over again.
Now you're trying to tell me that autumn is a season.
Yeah.
Don't start. Anyway,
Yeah, you're fucking crazy.
I've been eating cat food and huffing paint. What do you want? This is how it is.
Glue, sir.
Is it glue?
Yeah, they huff glue and eat cat food and chug beer, so they can the chemical reaction will knock them out.
So I don't have to listen to the cats.
So I don't have to listen to 10,000 cats in his alleyway screaming their heads off.
My favorite is when he does it. And
yeah,
then
Frank just runs in wearing Mardi Gras beads. Like, he immediately rips open a can of cat food and just drinks it out of the can, and then breathes into a bag and just like falls over into the bed. Like, it's like, and he doesn't say a word
without
like,
pause. It's amazing.
And then Dee's like, well, maybe you have 10,000 cats in the alleyway because you've got all these open cans of cat food everywhere. He's like, no, I have 10,000 cats in my alleyway because I've got 10 million rats that live in my apartment building. Like, he's got justifications for all these crazy as shit things he does. Okay. All right. We should probably get started. What do you guys
Okay,
think?
let's go.
Go. Go now. Now. Go.
Now, quickly.
Go. Now. Now. Now go. Oh my god, I wrote too much stuff here. There isn't space.
Yes.
We did it. We got through the whole thing.
We did it.
We didn't even die.
But did you die? You guys gaming tomorrow?
I am not, unfortunately.
I'm playing some Blood Bowl, and then maybe MCP.
That's not helpful. I was thinking of getting off early.
Blood Bowl's going to be at noon, so show up whenever you want.
Are you just playing one game, a Blood Bowl, or how long are you playing?
Yeah, it's just our league game, so yeah,
Okay.
it's just 12.
So I'll probably
to
show up after 2 then.
We actually have a lot of stuff to work on tomorrow.
2. Oh, my boss is being mean.
Yeah.
That's why you have to quit.
Not that you can't play your Blood Bowl game, but like we should. I expect the evening time will be very free, but I'd like to get as much done in the earlier hours as possible. Jeremy, you're totally cool to come hang out. I wanna get past all this dumb stuff we have to do.
Can you shut your headset off and just drop it for a minute so I can talk to Aaron about this this
Just-
motherfucker? This fucking
Aaron, you want to
slave
join
driver.
the join the side pit channel real
Can I,
quick?
can I talk to you about some manager shit right now? Because it's fucked up.
Jeremy, I will kick you out of the Discord channel. I changed your name. Did you see?
What?
You got your cookie for the day. I changed your name back.
I am Jeremy. God damn it, I knew you were going to do that.
I am Jeremy on Discord.
Fuck. Do you guys have an HR department, Aaron? Is there a
We do.
department or...
You should ask who the department head is.
Based
We
off of
actually-
the intra-staff Discord going on right now,
we
there's no
actually
HR.
had a conversation about this.
Is he still listening? Because I've...
I'll tell you guys a story off Discord as to why I'm the HR manager.
Oh my god. Oh,
All right. Cool. Well, I think we got plenty in the can for today. Is there anything you guys want to chat about before we get off?
I
start
played Malekith
brainstorming.
more. It was awesome.
Nice. I think we should put some thought into how to punish Parker, like some real cool
Ooh.
stuff.
Too bad those.
I was thinking like
those paint racks
like,
got put together. You could have made him do that. That was pretty.
No,
bad.
I was thinking like he gets a probationary episode per hair on his head he doesn't shave.
Well, then that'll be all of it. That's not
Yeah.
good.
I think we just
so
make
he'll
him
just
play.
have like 9 trillion in probationary episodes, or he can shave his head and just have 692.
I think he needs to put stripes in his head, like little like.
Oh god, he has to do highlights.
Oh,
he has to get like fucking like 2001 highlights. Like
he's got to put
frosted
tracks in
tips.
his eyebrows.
Oh my
awesome.
god. Oh, I love this. We need to go down this rabbit hole more.
I think we should just make him play Inhumans at the next tournament.
Ooh.
I trolled him so hard last week when he was up at the game store. I was like, man, I can't believe you gave up on Inhumans like that when they were doing so good for you. And he's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, he's so mad. Oh, it was good. All right. Let's go ahead and sign off.